Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2026. It was the New Year
It
thereabouts last time
started
we
off
streamed,
with a
wasn't it?
bang, quite
Yeah.
literally, in Venezuela. Guess what the topic will be for
did.
this week?
Well, we've got some other stuff with the fraud, and there was a topic regarding that Egyptian
I
immigrant
am
from
not
the UK from
currently
last
on
week.
any drugs whatsoever. Woo.
I am.
That doesn't sound very believable. So
How do
the
you
other thing that
know? I could be
we will
lying.
we'll be covering the what happened in Venezuela with Maduro's capture. We'll also be covering some of the more not just Somali fraud, but the unfolding fraud stories that are happening across the United
Lindsey Graham
States.
is Satan, by the way.
He sure is. And then I do want to, at the end, cover the Egyptian immigrant story from the UK from last week, or that got completely forgotten now by the news cycle, but is still quite interesting. It's mostly distractionary slop, but it was fascinating to me also how quickly it got just forgotten about. But I still have it on my list, so I thought we covered that near the end. However, we're going to start out with the Venezuela story because it is the big news. And really, I have been honestly a bit shocked at the degree of falling for it that so many people have done over this.
Yeah, this has been an extremely disappointing week, and like AA said, it's just like the shittiest week of takes he's ever had. And
It
yeah,
really is.
the amount of people who were actually anti-war seems to be extremely
they?
few. Do you know what I've noticed?
Were they? How anti-war were they?
The people who are anti-war and seem to actually understand America's incompetent foreign policy seems to be Europeans.
Well,
Like
yeah.
overwhelmingly.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, this is America's quote unquote win, and I'm putting that in quotes because it's Israel's win. And I
Yeah,
know
literally.
I am sure that there will be some pushback on that because we've already seen what the pushback has been on Twitter, which is no, don't talk about it, shut up, and just tell me that I'm winning. I understand the psychological desire to want to look at what has happened in Venezuela as a massive own and win for the United States. I am going to ask you, if you are of that opinion, to please stay with me on this.
No, you shall be
Because,
purged from this
you
chat
know,
immediately because I will not have any warsome
It is
twats
not
over here.
the win you think it is. It really is not.
Also,
the win you
of
think it
course,
is.
we will be praising myself, Dank, academic agent, and Harry for all having sane-based takes on this.
The
and
thing
the
is
rest
that
of you
there's
can only the dick.
I actually have the list because a Jewish guy, actually, interestingly enough, went through
Really?
and collected a list of all of the people who were not correctly and properly celebrating America's victory in Venezuela.
I was about to say a
And-
Jew making it, and then as soon as you said, like, oh, okay, yeah, of course he did.
Of all of the influencers and political pundits and talking heads, etc., who you need to not listen to because they are not they don't have
that
the correct
list.
opinion on this. Is it a win
was
for the
ba-
petrodollar? We'll get to that too.
It was basically why the hell are people messaging me? Freaking go away. It was basically it was a list of everyone who's not on APAC.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
it was. You look at it and like, first of all, you
Short
have
list.
like you look at them and you go,
Indeed.
First,
It's-
like, you have an Israeli star in your fucking Twitter bio. You can.
I do
Yeah.
reiterate this. I am of the belief that the reason we're seeing such a squeeze on finances in YouTube overall on older right-wing channels is because they're trying to push people towards taking the fucking 30 shekels.
I mean, I don't know. I've yet to be offered them, but yeah, I think you know what my response would be. But
More.
yes, instead,
Already shady. Why? Thank you very much.
Look, I mean, that's right, Shadow Legends. I know that I do have the Fell For It Again award, and we will be doing a little bit of a Fell For It Again award show here after the end of the broad story, because I do have the list. I have the list of the people who did not celebrate properly. Or should we just start with that? Let's just start with it rather than wait for
I
it.
think I
'cause then
follow
I'll
like
explain
80%
it.
of that list. I think I
Let's
actually
see.
even commented. If you scroll down, you see like, oh look, it's a great list of people to follow.
It is.
Guys at home, I've decided to develop a mindless self-indulgence-based rock opera about IPAC's involvement in American politics. I'm going to just simply borrow a title from one of the single songs they did, which is, of course, I never wanted to dance.
Wait, MSI?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? I don't think that's actually what that song is called. But anyway, so that is a good actual segue to talk about it. Here is the list from Max Nordau. Muscular Jew is how he describes himself.
I think, I marked this person just because of that name.
So here's his list. These people are anti-American leftists. They support America's enemies and oppose America's allies. They want America to be weak, poor, demoralized, and isolated. Okay, let's look at the list of anti-America leftists. Anna Kasparian.
Lefty.
Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's
possibly
alcoholic
FBI.
brother. Glenn
Don't know
Greenwald.
about
Yeah,
that.
potentially FBI.
Yeah.
There's the disparity between these people. Dave Smith. Libertarian. Scott Horton.
Libertarian.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Ian
Pissed
Carroll.
off Trump. Conspiracy
Yeah.
theorist.
Conspiracy theorist. Candace Owens.
Insane.
Insane.
Who he's written as Cancer Owens for some reason.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, he's written little quips about a lot of their names.
Yeah, Jews always think they're funny.
Jeffrey Sachs. John Mearsheimer.
Based professor of foreign policy.
Very based. Jimmy Dore.
Lefty.
Daryl Cooper.
Conspiracy
Conspiracy
theorist.
theorist.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean,
Daryl's
like, right-wing
historian.
guy. Yeah, he's a historian, but he does talk a lot about conspiracies. Crystal Ball, Dan Bilzerian.
Dresses up her husband like a homosexual.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got more on this list. Jake Shields, Nick
he's fairly
Fuentes,
normal.
and I don't have anything on Fuentes specifically, but he flip-flopped on this.
Quite a lot,
came out
yeah.
and originally came out and went, very USA, let's go, this is great. And then, the problem is that Fuentes is very much cultivated an audience of people that are a bit of noticers, and they noticed
actually, yes.
what was going on here wasn't quite the cut and dry story that it had been presented as, of this grand this grand expedition of American imperialism to topple a guy because he's importing drugs into the country. Wait, that's not it. Is it? Because we want their oil. Yeah, that's it. It has
the drug
nothing
story
to do with Iran.
It
has nothing to do with Israel. It has nothing
It
to
actually
do with
has
China.
nothing to. Yeah, I don't believe it has.
It
anything
actually has to
China.
do with all those things I just mentioned, and very little to do with drugs. As in fact,
the drug thing is complete crap.
Well, it's now come out that one of the cartels, that the main cartel,
Oh yeah, it's dropped from the indictment.
it doesn't exist. Well, it appears that it might not even exist.
Yeah, I saw the report as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Ron Paul's been covering it because, again, like, it is, rather than actually giving out the Fell for It Again awards, it's such a long list of people who fell for it. Such a long list of people who fell for it that it's far easier to instead look at this list of people who either didn't or at least have had any kind of minor pushback to the narrative. USA. Deadpool Kid for 5 says, if we didn't send in Solid Snake, I'm calling bull. Be the American the Japanese believe you to be. Look, I enjoy the memes as much as everybody else. However, I think there should be some basic questions also asked about the patent absurdity that, and it is a bit absurd. Now, Venezuela is a third world shithole in many ways, but the idea of just rolling up to the president's quarters and kidnapping him in 2025 or 2026, is a bit insane, with almost no resistance, very minimal
Rocked
resistance.
up, jammed all their anti-air, grabbed him before he could get to his panic room, and were exfiltrated whilst dropping a bomb on Chavez's grave in the span of 36 minutes.
Which is, now they're claiming they didn't do that on purpose, and I don't even know. That's the problem. I don't even know what the truth is. It appears that it happened. It was damage. Chavez too was damaged.
Deliberate.
But it wasn't deliberate. Sure
No
thing, Jan.
casualties. There were injuries, but from what I hear, is that one of the planes got a bit peppered up on the way out. A few people got nicked.
I mean, we'll talk a little bit about Chavez. Rambam 3000 for £5 says, how fast can the U.S. waste all its goodwill this time? Pretty damn quickly.
I would say that.
The reaction from Americans, particularly the American right, the left has been somewhat quiet. They did some protesting, as I'll show, but for the most part, I think they don't really know how to react to this. I think they're still like coping, seething, and scrambling to try and get their fraud stuff covered up better. But rather than focus on this, and ultimately, it's a win for Israel, so it's a win for the left as much as it is for the right.
Yeah, and also I
should say it's a win for neither of them.
I want to point this out because, someone in the chat just said, "Oh, my anti-Americanism has become a palpable." Listen here, motherfucker. You do realize your criticism of other nations doesn't stop your leaders from wanting forever wars and drowning in Israeli gene juice. Like I've noticed, foreign opinion on America's foreign policy is treated with immense hostility, which I find utterly bewildering. Because the same criticism that I level is the exact same criticism that Americans level at their own government, and have done since 5 fucking minutes ago.
Real.
It's not new.
This is appealing because the only reason this is appealing to anyone is that the military rocked in. American military showed that it still got it. It rocked in, knocked over a third world, a communist quote unquote shithole in the span in less time it takes to deliver a fucking pizza, and made off with two politicians who almost certainly knew they were about to be deposed.
To be fair,
who handed themselves over, most likely.
Maduro had a low approval rating. His approval rating was higher.
Chucked at him in the last 5 years. I'll remind people.
His approval rating, however, is higher than Keir Starmer's, which has led to some of the most cringe posting I've ever seen, where there were legitimately people in the UK right just going, "Oh please, please Trump, please invade us and please capture Keir Starmer." That's pathetic. I was absolutely disgusted.
Why are you expecting anything other than pathetic from people who have sat around and watched their entire country go to shit?
Where did I post that meme? Did I post it in the group chat? I think I did. Did I not?
And furthermore, why would being invaded by the Yanks be any socially different from being slowly corroded away by Islamic culture? If you can call it that.
Yeah. Someone just
which fist you want to get punched with?
How is a war? Are the bombs keeping dropping? That's bad English. I don't even know what you're trying to say.
There's no war to speak of. It was a 36 minutes in and out job.
Yeah.
Black bag, 2 people, done.
Yeah.
There was a lot of this kind of stuff going on Twitter, which was, again, very pathetic. Yeah, cringe and pathetic, yes.
Cringe and gay, yeah.
A lot of people, this week
people
has been...
People are it because it feels like a victory, even if it isn't.
Well, that's the thing.
All it needs to do is feel like it.
I don't want to blame individual people too much, obviously, for falling for it, because there's not been a lot of wins to point to from Trump to have there. There's not been a lot to point to and say, that's what I voted for. We've got the Epstein debacles. We've got, just most recently, the Somali fraud, which is, of course, Democrats' issues. But it underpins and underlines the fact that Americans cannot afford houses. The economy is not booming. By the way, I'd like to point out that the price of gas was already quite low when this happened, so the people going, finally, gas prices will be down. Well, the price of gas in the United States at the end of December, before this happened, was $2.80 a gallon on average. As of the first week of January, it's down about 4 cents. Or, excuse me, it's at about 15 cents, excuse me.
There is one thing that I did find funny this week.
However, I've also heard that the price of gas has already jumped back up to sometimes above where it was before this thing in Venezuela. But go ahead, Sam.
Yes, it's going to lead to a bunch of fucking, most likely counter-terrorists by BRICS countries. Because the BRICS member got knocked over.
Yeah. Also, the idea, one thing that I've seen two, frankly, fucking retarded comments. One was, this is to stop China from getting the oil. Which is really retarded because it's less than 4% of their oil comes from Venezuela.
But they do have trade deals with Venezuela.
Yes, it's true. But most of the oil comes from Iran and Saudi Arabia, which the Americans are not going to mess with due to the fucking petrodollar being tied to the Saudis.
They sure are saber-rattling at Iran right now.
I'll tell you for free that any embargo means fucking nothing. It just means you'll pay a small IP premium because you'll get go-betweens to run between the countries. Also, my granddad was running oil from the Qataris to the Americans during all the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
BRICS is absolutely not a joke. BRICS is actually a serious threat.
It should. Well, yeah, I would say so. You shouldn't underestimate BRICS. Be realistic about it, but you absolutely should not underestimate it. Look, my point about the nabbing of Maduro in the middle of the night and how seemingly easy it was probably indicates with some good evidence that maybe it's not just because he was unpopular, it's because he was allowed to be ousted by others within
because
the
people
Venezuelan
did notice
government.
the nabbing was very, very easy, and the person playing sort of ball with Western forces behind the scenes seems to now not be as quite open about it. Because the thing that I've seen, and I'm so glad people like Orrin pointed this out as well on his podcast, is that the entire regime is still there. Like,
Yeah, we'll talk about
the whole government is still there by one dude. Like,
that's the other major point.
There's no regime change at all.
Let's try to imagine that in some alternative universe, I don't know.
It was Cuban starting
Venezuela. Venezuela sent in a strike force to the United States and kidnapped Trump in the middle of the night. What changes in the United States? No, I mean really.
I mean, one thing changes. It'll be J.D. Vance sitting in the Oval Office, but other than that, not so much.
It would be J.D. Vance.
Yeah, nothing would really change.
I'm talking about the state of the country, the overall just, day-to-day
You will
stuff.
declare an act
I mean, it
of
would be
war.
chaos. Yeah, and it would be an act of war. Although, this is bizarrely also Venezuela's not retaliating. You could say that is because, he was so unpopular. Again, more popular than Keir Starmer. Or it could be because this was all orchestrated. They already knew beforehand who they were going to set up to take Maduro's place. Her name is Machado, or Machado, I think it's pronounced Machado, something like that.
I'm not sure if
who
she actually
is,
in
of
charge.
course, a not just a friend of the United States, the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize instead of Trump, but we'll talk about that. And of course,
did you see what he said about her?
Lifelong friend of Israel. What did he say specifically? I know he said that he didn't like her or something.
Yeah, but did you know? Do you know why?
Oh, because of the Peace Prize, or what was it?
Yeah, because he said the Peace Prize belonged to him and she took it. She would be leading Venezuela.
Guess
what? Please tell me that story is actually true.
Well, guess what? She's giving it to him.
Oh my god, seriously?
Uh-huh.
Oh, in exchange for leading Venezuela.
Sounds like it. No, as a show of friendship, I'm sure.
Oh god, Trump, that is such a pussy move. Like, that's so gay.
And
Give
the
me
other
the
thing
Peace
she's going to
Prize,
do,
and I'll make
as soon as she takes office, which she will, first things first, get your house in order and move that embassy to embassy to Jerusalem. Make sure you do that first, of course.
God, it's
that is her one of her first ports of call. God, it's all so tiresome. We'll go back to the list of people who actually didn't fall for it again over here. First let me get these super chats, shall I? Let's see. Tucker O'Donnell for 5 says, Trump just announced they're going to ban large investment institutions from owning single-family homes. I hope that's true. I don't know how that gets... It is a step in the right direction. I'm not sure how much it does to mitigate.
It smacks more of they've already got all they want, now they're going to pull the ladder up.
Yeah, probably something like that. I think maybe they've already got what they want, or it doesn't do anything to stop,
if they're suggesting curtailing the megacorporations anyway, it means that they've got a workaround already prepared.
Well, it doesn't do anything to stop fraudsters who rake in massive amounts of money off of the U.S. taxpayers' back from being able to buy themselves $1 million homes anyway that you can't afford.
People will be made agents who will buy on their behalf, who will then sell to the company anywhere.
That too. Deadpool Kid for 5 says,
"Let's." Tanker as well.
Oh yes, I heard about that, but I didn't look into it. Deadpool Kid for 5 says, let's balloon the guy up to the sky. Give me that, please. Who Maduro? I mean, the Dr. Disrespect memes and stuff were funny. I'm not going to front that some of the memes that came out of it were at least amusing. It's unfortunate, however, that you can't... Real politics is not memes. It's not vibes. It's not feel-good stuff. This is actually quite insidious shit that's happening with this. And people are... I understand it. Trump's second term, he has seemed... The only times he seemed to have done anything is when he takes military or pseudo-military action in foreign countries. One of the things that he promised he wouldn't do. He's done quite a lot of. Meanwhile, conditions in the United States are not good.
No. It
And
does
people
seem
know
more
that.
like
They
a
feel
PR
it.
win.
You can lie all goddamn day about inflation not being up,
And
but
they
people
do and they
know
will.
they can compare what they buy at Costco based on old receipts. The cost of living is way up. People can't afford to live. But we have to go take care of this Venezuelan dictator because of drugs? ? Actually, never mind. It's because we're taking the oil. Well, what's going to happen there? Genuinely.
I'd like to know about the oil. What is the refinement cost? How quickly can you get it to the United States?
To be fair on that front, the U.S. is one of the only countries on Earth that can process, because the oil in Venezuela,
crude,
from my
yeah.
understanding, is very crude. So, and the U.S. is one of very few countries that can process it effectively. So that's
but how
true.
much is that going to cost?
Well, we definitely will get some oil out of it, I'm sure. Now, here's the thing, though, as I'll get to in a minute. We're probably about to be able to buy Venezuelan oil without having to topple Maduro. Because he wanted to go back to talks. Now, that's because clearly he knew this was about to happen. This was obviously going to happen. I'm telling you, he says he wants to open talks a day before it happened.
I mean, China was also there, apparently
And
China was there when it
Netanyahu was
happened.
meeting with Trump.
Oh yeah, of course he was. And who was the first people to praise him? Oh yeah, it was Netanyahu.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
It's just, it's all so tiresome.
Cringing game.
Looney Lenny for 5 says, I'm happy the Venezuelans can decide on a new leader, decide in quotes, but I'm worried about our troops being down there and keeping the peace for another 10 to 20 years. I'm worried about that as well, of course, and that also remains to be seen. Trump has already said that, if we have to go in and use more force, we will do that. Right now, the praise for Trump is people just going, wow, it was so clean and easy. Why aren't all wars like this? Maybe you need to ask yourself, if you're of that mind, maybe you need to ask yourself that question. Why aren't all wars like this? That this was really strange?
Two takes from this. Either the military, as we know, are operating on a far higher level than we have realised, and they have been essentially just gold-bricking it, holding these places at great personal expense so they can drive up the war economy. Alternately, this was a CIA asset being exfiltrated and not a kidnapping.
I mean, it is interesting.
He's already immediately
they had him in New York,
and they've immediately moved on to the Greenland bullshit again. Which
I haven't even had time to look into, but other than in more detail, other than Greenland's on the chopping block. I think I do have a little bit on it later on, because it's not just Greenland, it's Cuba, and it's Iran.
I was watching Judge Napolitano, and they had Colonel McGregor on, and he said, through a journalist, so take it with a grain of salt, but he said the word from Marco Rubio is they don't actually want to annex the land. They're more interested in buying it.
Yeah, essentially.
But
it's this riding kind of on this high of we'll just take it.
Yeah, and Europe is apparently quite united against the Americans doing that. America seems to be behind Denmark. I'm kind of hoping America does do some dumb shit, because I kind of want the Europeans to grow a pair of balls and say to Trump, get fucked, we're sick of this. And
the people we got in charge at the minute are not people we want growing balls. We want them growing a rope around the neck. And then replace with someone competent.
I mean...
I will say this, if this manages to get Keir Starmer blackbagged, it would be very funny. Nothing else.
I mean, who would I want to replace him? Jeremy Corbyn? I mean, Corbyn would actually be an improvement over Starmer.
I mean, maybe. Honestly, Keir is such a fuck up. Good God. All right, let's see. Minnesota Fets, who's been a member for 36 months, thank you so much, man, says, I don't front boss, we nabbed Presidente to protect the petrodollar. History repeats. I don't know how to stop it, and I don't pretend to know either. Me neither, dude. I know what's going on. I don't have any solutions for you. I think I know what's going on. I think I have a better idea of what's actually going on than the people who are spurging out at Count Dankula and Spoon on Twitter, just going, USA, 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 with
myself and Dank managed to piss off thousands of people.
And you know what's fascinating, and I'll get to this later, is that this has been so actually quite elegantly set up to have this exact reaction. because they have spent the last couple of years, but particularly since October 7th, drawn stank lines all over leftoids like Hassan Piker for talking about Israel all the time. And so we are going to talk about Israel tonight and its relationship to this situation. But there is now an inherent aversion to hearing people talk about Israel and its involvement in geopolitics amongst the right, because it's like, you're talking about Israel. Stinky commies like Hassan Piker do that. You shouldn't. So anyone who talks about Israel must be a stinky commie, which has pretty much been the narrative surrounding this. That if you go, hey, wait a minute, this is a little bit sussy. This is some sussy baka shit going on here. Let's.
I'm siding with them now.
And talk about it. Excuse me. Let's slow our roll and think about what actually happened here and how it's a bit strange. It's just, oh, what are you, a commie? You know, it's pathetic, to be honest. But that's what's happened. Again, I'll get back here in a second to our didn't fall for it again awards list. But first, Arceon for 5 says, now when I go out with a Latina girl, I'm going to say, hey girl, let's say I'm Delta Force and your pants are Maduro. Can I liberate you? Smooth. 100% of the time it works every time. Wait, that's not how the meme goes. Surefire. Saranthus for 2000 says, Hungarian, Delta Force did what VDV couldn't in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Antifa goes boom, and Berlin is without power in the middle of the winter. Yeah, I heard about that. Not a peep in the news. Also read Fae Fire on Royal Road by Lumen Moon. Yes, you mentioned that before, and I did check that out. I have it on my bookmarks list. If I get some time...
You've not exactly had the best track record since the 90s, to be fair.
No. Well... And the Ukraine stuff's interesting. It's like, yeah, Ukraine, that's been going on, obviously, for a while. For how many years has it been now? 3? 2?
How many airborne operations by enemy lines have there really been in the Ukrainian theatre? Well, I thought given all the fancy schmancy fucking anti-air they got given for free from everyone, that probably would have been pretty tricky for the VDV to do fuck all.
Let's see. Testing for 5 says, the post-Iran bombing fear-mongering is happening again here, but about Venezuela now. Greenland and Cuba are next. Power politics are back. Cope or accept. Look, we never deny power politics here, but...
Reset the clock.
For what?
All politics is power politics.
All
like
politics
information
is
is ammunition.
Well, sure, but it's true. The only thing is that I Spoon and I certainly, and I think you agree, Bill, is that I don't think our point in our way of covering things and talking about it is not to bullshit you with fake gay narratives about how this is about stopping drugs or it's really about the cost of oil, because it's not. I mean, oil has something to do with it. It's about not the cost of oil to the American people.
It's so much cheaper to do bread and circuses when you can just make the politics into bread and circuses. It's so much cheaper.
Yes.
In fact, you can make money off of it rather than having to spend it.
Yeah. Yes. Of course, all politics is power politics. Let's see, who else is on our list of didn't fall for it again? Nick Fuentes, who has flip-flopped on it, and I would say that he did fall for it, at least at first, from our description. Let's see, Myron Gaines, the Hodge twins, Nicholas Ken, Sneeko, Milo Yiannopoulos, Daryl Cooper. Did he put Daryl Cooper twice? Yes, he did. He must really hate Daryl. Oh, that's because Daryl Cooper talks about the Holly and stuff. Scott Ritter, Douglas McGregor, Larry Wilkerson, Chaz Freeman, Andrew Napolitano, Iran lobbyist Trita Parsi, Luke Rudkowski. And I felt so bad for Luke Rudkowski because I saw him getting absolutely just eaten alive by these people who could not listen to reason and were just being awful to him. And from my understanding, Luke's had a hard year financially. And people he can't catch a break. Luke has been speaking the truth on this issue. Stu Peters, Kim Iverson, Owen Schroyer. Also, Owen Schroyer's been on point. Harrison Smith, Chris Menathan, Ryan Dawson, Kurt Mills. Yeah, these are people whose main priority is to disempower the United States and empower Russia, China, Iran. Every sin can be forgiven if committed in the service of disempowering America and empowering America's adversaries. They believe that the world would be a better place if America... Fuck off! Having some kind of critique... And this is the guy making these lists. Again, muscular Jew, genocide expert.
They often are.
Here's the guy making your list. You're missing Thomas Massey and Rand Paul. Add Ron to the list, by the way. Because obviously, Ron, I don't think is happy about this either. So there's the list. I'll turn off the award music now. Let's get into it then, shall we? So these are the people who have wrong opinions. Apparently, all of them are anti-American leftists, even though, as we covered, as I'm sure many of you are aware, there's a lot of people on this list who I don't think in any universe could be described as leftists. What they are is maybe a little bit Israel critical, perhaps. Maybe that's the common denominator there, is it? Let's see. Arceon for 5 says, "Hey Aiden, could you do a video on the psychology of virginity shaming for men? It's interesting how men are shamed being virgins, but not women." That's actually an interesting topic. Let me write. I've got a list of videos I'm thinking about doing. Where is my list? My list. Oh, it's over here. I see it. One sec. Sorry about that. Men shamed virginity.
So I saw an MSN article the other day about memory editing, and they explicitly referenced Sunshine of the Spotless Mind of all things.
Well, my favorite movie, or one of my favorites, oil making for 10 says, "Love your guys' show. Hey, thank you, man. The Backlash is interested to interview you guys. Something is definitely shifting in geopolitics. Cheers." Do you know who the Backlash is, Spoon? I'm unfamiliar. Let me write that down too. I'll get in contact. I'll find out who it is first and then get in contact with them. The Backlash. All right. Thank you, man. Let's get into it, shall we? All right. So here's a little bit of an introductory thing. Do you want a meme first? Let's have a meme. Let's have a little bit of a meme before we get into this nightmare. The falling for it again, which is this guy tried to break into JD Vance's home, and it looks like JD Vance. Like, what's the serendipity on this one? This guy who is a tranny, by the way, and ultra wealthy, of course, tried to break into Vance's Cincinnati residence. Of course, family are ultra elites. Went to a $27,000 a year high school, $1.3 million home, and of course is a troon of some capacity. And wow, though, I mean, very unfortunate looking, but does seem like he could be related to JD Vance. The serendipity on that is quite strange. These people are obviously insane, and interesting timing, I guess, also for this.
They've always got a weird asymmetry that kind of lets you know that they're a bit wrong.
It's dysgenic, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect, or, I mean, far fucking from it, but they always have a kind of strange dysgenic nature. I covered that in my video about the ugly left that I put out about 2 months ago now.
Imagine going through all those hormone treatments or whatever the fuck, or at the very least, like therapy sessions, just to end up looking like the kid from Bad Santa.
He looks like one of the kids from the Goonies.
He does. He does look like he's a Goonies character.
Looks like every single one of the Goonies rolled into one person.
Yeah.
Including Sloth.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Also, I just noticed the one eye is massively higher than the other one.
Higher than the other,
Yeah,
and the teeth are centered weirdly. Like there's two.
His
like
teeth
big,
are quite.
they're
probably
regular in big in sizes, but one's like one of them is at the very center.
They're rich, so he probably has had good dental work. Mr. EC is me.
Teeth.
True. Mr. EC is me for £5 says, "Could this all be 4D chess to get Europe to increase their NATO contributions by scaring them into increasing defense spending?" Highly doubt. I mean, it's possible.
This was what it is, which is a very simple, like, quick win, victory lap type conflict to make it look like America's still, big mover and shaker in the midst. It's a bit of saber rattling and all that.
Yeah, because it's
not
particularly well with the Ukrainians and Russia.
Yeah. Eldritch Hogger 2 says, "Backlash is blonde in the belly of the beast." Oh, okay. Absolutely then, for sure. Yeah, I'd love to talk to her. Yeah, let me. That's awesome. Let me write that down to make sure I don't forget.
If you put both PPP and Race Warski in a teleporter together.
Yeah, true. Oh no, that's awful.
Oh God, yeah.
Lost Monster Man for 2 says, "Happy belated New Year's. Things are happening. Sort of. Like, look, you can just do things as long as the things that you're doing are for Israel."
Yeah.
It's been. Have you noticed that the sort of like right wing pundits who are very celebratory of this did adopt Scrump's language on that? You can just do things, but it's like, yeah, you can just do things when it's for Israel, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ohms the Opulent for £50. Hey, thank you so much, man. Says Broken Crown has been my go-to for rank punditry since Unpopular Opinions ended. So I probably owe you guys some back taxes. Thank you, man. Question: how does Trivers Willard interact with JF Gariepe's habit of releasing his low genetic fitness daughter wives into the wild?
That is a hell of a super chat, by the way.
Oh my fucking God.
I mean, every fucking dollar count.
I actually did speak with
the
JF about
RCMP
this.
will never catch me.
He
Holy
follows me on
shit.
Twitter now, actually, so I did shoot him a message and ask him about this. Because I did notice the overwhelming amount of people that had shit opinions on this are
Who,
almost... Yes.
You messaged?
Yeah, I messaged him. Because I did notice almost all of the people that had shitty cheering the regime opinions were all Americans, and all the people that were skeptical of it are not Americans. It's bar from like 3 people at the Lotus Eaters.
Well, no,
America knocked over basically stole a person. All the Americans like it, and the non-Americans don't like it. No shit.
Yeah.
That's not true, though, because like I showed you that meme earlier, where there were a ton of people in the UK right who were going, yeah, do Starmer next. Come get Starmer next. He sucks.
Yeah, which was really...
That's because shit's bad on the mainland. What the fuck do you want?
Oh,
right.
please come and own us for Israel.
It's better than what they got right now, probably.
I don't know how that interacts with Trivers Willard, though. Him doing that. I actually don't know anything about how autism or mild retardation relate to sex ratio, other than it's autism's higher in males.
This person that's on the camera on the screen right now, to quote Arch, I am reaching for the they them pronouns because I literally don't know what gender that is.
Well, they are some sort of troon.
They've barely got ears.
Yeah. What did they identify as? Yeah. I think they identify as female. Because I saw that their name had been changed. Transgender woman who enjoyed a luxurious upbringing filled with privilege. Yeah, well, yikes. Oof.
I did say as a joke on Twitter before, there's a 40% chance the pronouns are going to be were.
True.
I'm more worried about the kind of person who would have a Cincinnati Public Library sticker on their fridge.
They live in Cincinnati, I presume, because that's where J.D. Vance's house is.
Yeah, but you're really out here repping the local library on your fridge. It just seems odd.
I love Cincinnati. I miss Cincinnati all the time.
Oh, here we go again, boys. Aiden's going to adopt another state.
Pick
a side, woman.
The happiest, in terms of like, where I've lived, where I've been happiest was in Cincinnati. I loved living in Cincinnati. It's a perfect sort of mixture. It's well, yes, the food, because there's a massive German population in Cincinnati. So if you like German food, go to Cincinnati. Huge Oktoberfest celebration, a great bar scene.
Woo!
Yeah, woo indeed. I did love I love living in Cincy. So, explainer, why is the U.S. captured Venezuela's president? What happens next? This is like
no one knows
I don't know
what
how
the
much
hell happens next.
That's kind of the question. Why? I can give you a why, but I don't even the United States' the official reasons why have changed.
I don't think it's actually okay. So here's my conspiracy. I'm in the side of Harry about this. That the oil is just a basic bitch excuse that people will actually cheer for because they think it's like getting something for the American people. Whereas I think if they were told, "Hey, look, this is actually," did you see the deal that Harry posted about on Twitter, and he did on the Lotus Eaters? That there was some deal done for the state-backed entity that where the equipment is from, and the deal was rammed through by someone from Delaware, and the person that rammed the deal through and allowed the purchase, that's the one. Yeah, it was forced through by a member of fucking AIPAC.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Singer's purchase of Venezuelan oil was forced through by none other than the directors of AIPAC. Meet Paul Singer, the billionaire Trump megadonor set to make a killing on Venezuela. Shady purchase of Citgo has everything to do with this coup. I bet it does. Is this the nudicer?
If you live in a major city and you suddenly notice someone making it so that a building has 2 insurance policies that overlap,
but just read a little bit the Harry.
Let's get back to that. because I think it'll fit in better with. I have like a structure here.
Let's face it, people were on board with this just because the idea of Trump just saying "fuck it," we're just going to take it.
Yeah,
I mean that is kind of the narrative,
people
right?
appreciate simplicity, and they hunger for it. They hunger for someone who is blood simple. They just want someone to LARP as fucking Conan.
Yeah, I don't know how much we need to talk about this. This is just the overview. The U.S. Put a bunch of ships outside Caracas.
While you're down there, you should maybe knock over the Chinese fishing fleet that's destroying the biodiversity of the fucking planet.
And the immediate sort of rationale was involvement in narco-based terrorism, right? That's been a lot of Trump's rhetoric for a long time now, is we have to stop the drugs. I agree. I also would like to stop the drugs.
Except the problem main killer is fentanyl, not coke, which is what Venezuela is known for.
Yeah. Venezuela's drug exports is predominantly cocaine, hence Venezuelan marching powder. It's not fentanyl. That stuff comes from places like Colombia.
Cocaine is what fuels New York.
Now, very curiously, on the drug part, we'll get to more later, Trump just pardoned
the Honduras guy.
That was Honduras.
Yeah.
It comes from places like Honduras, though, and places like Colombia, and places like Mexico, not Venezuela. So that didn't hold up. And also, I'll tell you later, too, that the narco-terrorist group that they said they were going after may not even exist. So that kind of falls apart on its face pretty damn quickly. It also didn't happen that after this occurred, the immediate sort of rhetoric was, we're going to run the country.
Yeah, that was quite creepy.
Generally speaking, are really tired of forever wars and really tired of having to prop up foreign countries. We already have to prop up Israel. And by the way, I wonder what the relationship is there. But Trump just said, we're going to take control of Venezuela.
Yeah.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So,
what does that mean?
What does that mean? We're going to run the country.
You have no boots on the ground.
No.
Is that what you're planning?
There's no U.S. I mean, the ships are the ships still there?
The entire country is still there, bar one dude. So what does that even mean?
Exactly. What do you mean running the country? How are you going to do that? Again, if you take away Trump, if little Marco behind him just kidnapped him right now or ran off the stage and went, I've got you now, ran away to wherever he's from. Where is he from, actually? I don't remember.
Cuba
or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious, because he says Cuba's next. If he ran off with him, does the U.S. cease to function? Does that mean Cuba gets to take control of the United States? That's so patently
bizarre.
Absurd. Now, it is the United States, and we're about the only country on Earth that could do that, I guess. But it's a bit silly, isn't it? To think that, you capture the figurehead, the leader, and therefore you own the country, so we're going to operate it and run it?
Having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
And he said there explicitly that we don't want someone else like Maduro to come into power. So that means not democratically elected, presumably, not by the people of Venezuela. I mean, I don't know how else you could interpret this. We're going to install someone is what I heard. And we already know who they're going to install.
Wasn't them that installed Maduro to begin with?
True.
And it has to be...
I could be wrong there.
I don't think Maduro was installed, actually. But the U.S. has certainly installed plenty of figureheads.
Because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland.
Do they want to go back? And we'll talk about what's going on with that, too, because it turns out, I don't think they're going to go back. And in fact, a whole bunch more are going to come in. That whole thing that you're also supposed to be fighting against. Well, we've just granted some amnesty towards refugees. As per, not Kristi Noem. And you know that people are going to cross the border, I'll get to that in a minute, are not going to necessarily all be from Venezuela. They're going to be from all over South America and claim to be Venezuelans, and you're going to have a massive influx of people claiming to be Venezuelan refugees. That is the inevitable reality of this. And when you offer them, free, you had refugee status, what do you think ends up with that. They stay in the country and they don't leave. Solon the Lich, for 100 ARS, says, my condolences to the Venezuelans that don't need a wheelbarrow of bolivars to buy groceries. That Cheeto Nazi stole their El Presidente. It's an illegal war. They did steal their El Presidente. And look, things in Venezuela are fucked. I'm not defending Maduro in any sense here. And I think I've been I've not said anything to defend Maduro in this stream whatsoever. What I've been critical of is the United States. Doesn't mean I'm a big fan of Nicolas Maduro. However, there are things about Venezuela that make sense as to why the U.S. invaded it or captured Maduro and is doing a regime change in Venezuela that have very little to do with the drug trade, that have very little to do with the cost of gas. In fact, those things I think are second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th. I don't even think they're on the list of priorities, to be honest. Eldritch Saga for 5 says, I asked before, but if you could choose only one to whatever degree you want, money, advice, or assistance, which would you choose? Assistance. Honestly, money. Money is just easier. Advice is great, but I already know so many people that give me good advice and assistance. But maybe assistance, because that's kind of the same. I mean, that can involve, if you need help, people can help you out financially. Maybe assistance is probably the best thing. If that means like friendship, I would say, actually. I'm changing my opinion. If it means good friends, I think is probably the best thing out of them, actually. More so than money. Money can't buy friends. Well, it can buy you people to act like your friends, but it can't buy real friends. So that was interesting in that we just own Venezuela now, I guess, until we transfer it to somebody democratically, I'm sure. So there was a little bit of leftoid protesting about it. They were out. Now, of course, they were prepared for this, which is, I don't really care so much about anything more than the fact that this is further, I'm sure that they already have all this stuff printed, but this implies a lot of coordination. There is no possible way to get these specifically U.S. out of Venezuela signs printed. Hundreds, thousands of them printed overnight. They were out there the next morning. Does that seem a little bit suspect to you? That people in power, again, knew this was going to happen. Maduro seemed to know it was going to happen. There was very little pushback against his capture. Just interesting.
Something ain't adding up.
I agree, Terrence.
Pistachios, okay?
I wish I had pistachios, to be honest.
These are addictive, by the way. I'll be tearing these things up. But anyways, it just dawned on me. And maybe I'm the only one, okay? But am I the only one who's wondering how in the world did these protesters get these highly produced signs so fast?
Good question.
Let's run down the
It is a good question. And they're not just generic signs about Venezuela. U.S. war in Venezuela. They had these the next morning. Blood for oil. That one's probably pretty generic. But the ones that specifically mention U.S. war in Venezuela, there's one, USA hands off Venezuela. They had these within 12 hours. At this degree. This seems a little coordinated. You know what I mean? Did I call him something else? I did call him parents. I just have some questions. I'm just noticing, as Tucker Carlson literally called it in this instance. Here's what I was talking about before about the refugee status. Yeah, I wouldn't let him yap too much. I do like Terrence, though. So here's Kirsty Nome. And by the way, when this first was announced, there were, on X, Twitter, there were a bunch of community notes saying, Kirsty Nome didn't say this. Well, maybe my lying ears deceive me.
Well, Venezuela today is more free than it was yesterday, and it's going to continue to be that way as long as President Trump is in the White House and is making sure that he's protecting the interests of the American people, because that ripple effect will continue to bring that kind of liberty to Venezuela as well. These programs, we're bringing integrity back to them. The decisions are made in conjunction with the State Department, with the White House, and then we at the Homeland Security implement them and make sure that they are followed through. So every individual that was under TPS has the opportunity to apply for refugee status. And
Oh, I don't think they're going to go home now, are they? If you're a Venezuelan living in the United States, or perhaps wants to come to the United States, apply for refugee status. There it is, out of the mouth of Kirsty Nome herself.
evaluation will go forward, but we need to make sure that our programs actually mean something and that we're following the law. And that's how that decision with TPS was made.
Adam Media is a good account to follow. I disagree with him on some stuff. I not follow him. What the fuck? I use his stuff all the time. But I disagree with him on some things, but he does have good coverage of this stuff. Rambam, for £5, says, shout out to YouTuber Paul Warburg, who has 2 good videos on Venezuela, both useful for seeing this clearly. Yeah, definitely. I've seen some of his stuff. I don't think I've seen his videos on Venezuela, but I'll have to watch those then. Let's see, what's that? Homeland Security lied also about this. Oh, this is what I was talking about, yeah. Venezuelan migrants can apply to become refugees in the United States per DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. And here, Homeland Security, the DHS, says that's not what Secretary Noem said. President Trump is bringing stability to Venezuela and bringing to justice an illegitimate narco-terrorist dictator who stole from his own people. Secretary Noem ended temporary protected status for more than 500,000 Venezuelans, and now they can go home to a country they love. That is what Kristi Noem said, and it was broadcast on Fox. We just watched it. Weird. Oh, my fuck. The audacity. The absolute fucking audacity. And Trump himself has reversed his policy positions and his on Venezuela. Here we are, side by side.
Time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious
we already saw this, but still.
Our current strategy of nation building and regime change is a proven absolute failure.
Indeed.
We will break the cycle of regime change.
We must abandon the failed policy of nation building and regime change that Hillary Clinton pushed in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt, and in Syria. Regime change takes chaos.
You've seen how that works over the last 20 years. That hasn't been too good. Not a reckless interventionist globalism.
We're getting out of the nation-building business. We're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place.
Curious. Interesting. Wonder what changed. There.
Resources?
And here, of course, Trump is celebrating.
Satan himself.
With Satan himself.
We talked about a drug caliphate in our backyard.
This is Lindsey Graham, of course, who is a war hawk piece of shit, and who has been a never Trumper for a long period of time, but Trump does a little bit of regime change, and all of a sudden Lindsey Graham's on board, huh?
He really is like the real world Holden Blood Feast.
He is Holden Blood Feast, personified.
Venezuela, we have Cuba, we have Colombia in our backyard. And these 3 countries have been condemned ever since I've been in politics. Joe Biden put a $25 billion...
Mr. Graham, have you attempted to look less pig-like in appearance?
How? It's not possible. He's pig-like in appearance. Hey, look at Trump scowling at him too, but nope, but he's got nothing but nice things to say. It's like he's making sure he's gonna say nice things.
Great, I get to sit in this doorway and get fucking smoked blown up my ass by this greasy homosexual.
Yeah.
To the fire. He did. So what has he done? He's gonna clear our backyard of a drug caliphate. Countries run by narco-terrorist dictators who murder...
That exact phraseology. Narco-terrorist dictator. Narco-terrorist dictator. Just be aware when they keep telling you the same line over and over again. And by the way, again, not pro-Maduro, but it's interesting. Yeah, sorry that the audio is... Oh, I do have it turned down low. He's just glazing Trump is all he's doing anyway.
By narco-terrorist dictators.
How do we not... How long did it take us to realize that this guy was gay again? Because it seemed like longer than it should have taken, given his voice.
Probably. But he's not the only neocon warhawk who's very happy by this. John Bolton is as well.
Oh, the other contender for the real world Holden Blood Feast, the guy whose name I always forget.
the other Holden Blood
with
Feast.
Nerve endings.
Who starts out by saying he's delighted.
I'm delighted that Maduro has been captured.
Always about time.
Extracted. I wished we'd been able to do that in 2018. 2019, when the opposition tried to overthrow Maduro. We have significant American national security interests at stake. However, this is maybe step one of a much longer.
Oh, is it?
The only way this could look more incriminating for Trump is if Tony Blair came out of the woodwork to praise him as well.
I'm surprised he's not. Yeah, much longer process. I'm sure we'll have to stay there and do some more military interventions for a long, long time.
I'll just glass the country and be done with it.
Regime is still in place, according, again, to limited information. Delcy Rodriguez.
No shit, the regime's still in place. You idiot! All you did was remove the president.
That's like saying we've disassembled.
There's a vice president of Venezuela, you idiot! There's a whole chain of command. Good God.
Rodriguez, the vice president, Vladimir Padrino, the defense minister, Jorge
Vladimir Padrino,
president of the National Assembly are still in place.
It's a crazy name, to be honest.
That's a wild. That does sound like
Vladimir Padrinos.
It does sound like if Vladimir Putin was in charge of Neo Mexico from G Gundam. So it's just
Yeah.
Putin with like it's full on like Dante el Exterminador de la Demona.
True.
It's just Putin with like a badly textured mustache and a sombrero.
Much like Bolton's badly textured mustache.
11, but the president's rationale is a law enforcement rationale. There is the warrant for Maduro's arrest. The operation is said to...
Yeah, that's the other spin. We don't have to abide by any kind of international law. We're operating under U.S. law. U.S. law doesn't really cover this either. For it's a criminal arrest because he's a drug trafficker. That's why.
Have been carried out largely by law
Boy,
enforcement.
this is done with the FBI, so this was considered this was technically considered like a federal criminal matter.
Yes, that's how they treated it. Yeah.
And again, this shouldn't surprise anyone. I have heard stories of people over here in Guernsey being black bagged by the feds.
I mean, to be fair, you can kind of just say fuck international law. However, the amount of geopolitics that's going on here is quite. Yeah, I know. And this was certainly an example of that. Maybe the one of the prime examples of it.
Hey, they got told in World War I, hey, this shotgun's fucking gay and homeless. Can you not use it? And upon hearing this idea, it's like, hey,
that's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
It's just I think it's just, that kind of line of reasoning is just to silence the people saying international law, which I agree. International law, whatever.
With protective support from the military. And as you just noted, Hegseth and Rubio had briefed Congress that regime change was not the answer. So
now, do Greenland next. This has been. Mm-hmm. What's that?
Okay, no, the OBS just dipped. You're back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just short circuit. OBS does a weird thing. It does clips every so often. You should be fine now.
Considering that people who were like pro-Trump are so anti like Warhawk bullshit, they're also a bit blood simple. They do like the idea of just knocking over a country because it's fun, as long as you're honest about it.
Actually, before we get to that, now I want to talk about the reactions to it because this seems a good place to put it in here. So this was Dankula's tweet. Trump, you complete.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll go back to yours in a second. Yeah, Trump, you complete fucking retard. Hey mate, I also followed Daily Roman updates. Hey mate, love the channel, but the gay libertarian take's gotta stop. You're right, it's good when they topple drug lords, even though that's literally every single South American country. But they just so happen to pick the anti-Israel, pro-Palestine BRICS member with a lot of oil. Guys, you are literally falling for it again.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Maduro,
not the Jews.
Maduro pointed out that the backing against him is of pro-Zionist forces, and considering where the money's going.
So is his VP.
Yeah, that's there may be some truth to that statement.
It's really. Hang on, you cut out there for a second. Maybe it was just me.
No, I'm saying there's some truth to that statement.
Yep, there is.
Get back here. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I had to cough. You said, won't you read your own tweet? Why won't I read it? That's silly.
Dear retarded Americans, you toppled Saddam because you wanted to sell oil in the euros. You did. You got rid of Gaddafi because you wanted to make a gold-backed currency called dinners. And Maduro was selling oil on the Chinese yuan to bypass US sanctions. Like, yeah, all true. So grow a pair of fucking balls. Like, make you just trying to protect your precious petrodollar and stop hiding behind this cringe faggot crap of liberation. Like, you're full of shit and everyone knows it. Like, everyone is like, this has nothing to do with drugs. Like, fucking come on. Stop.
And I'm, yeah, I'm saying, you got a bunch of these. Shut up, loser, because you're from South Africa.
Yeah, I've noticed that's the
Mad that a
immediate
country
first
is
thing.
free from a dictator at the cost of some of their oil. So many responses like this, yeah. Imagine thinking it's the same as Iraq or Afghanistan.
It is.
It's the same as Iraq and Afghanistan.
I don't know if
Or
you've
that it's
noticed
bad
this,
to
but
protect your personal interests.
this
Grow
is
up. Oh my god.
protect your own personal interest by going into another country and stealing its resources. Like, okay. It just strikes me as bizarre. People go, oh, this is nothing like Iraq. Yeah, say that to Afghanistan. The last 3 fucking times you did this, you ended up with the same bloody result. So, yeah.
My god, the irony. The absolute irony.
I don't know what that one is supposed to mean.
I'm saying it's ironic because this person is a Hitler poster and should, supposedly based, but is just saying code.
Yeah, fucking hell, the irony of that one, yeah.
Venezuelan oil laundered Russian oil being sold as Venezuelan oil to get around sanctions to fund their war in Ukraine. What?
Bigger issue is that there are private contracts, private traders who are going to trade between these countries anyway.
By the way, I didn't look at these comments because there's 1,400 ones of just coping and stealing morons, so why the hell bother?
I mean, they were certainly all over Dank's post as I saw.
Dank got I think, worse than I did.
I mean, it was, the responses to him were nuts. I'll scroll up here to the original tweet. Because I was looking through them, and I was flabbergasted at some of the, listen here, pal, the only way to fix America is to kneecap the main trail immigrants use to flood the nation while getting rid of a handful, keeping H-1B replacements pumping and pumping. Whoa, this guy might be based. Get wrecked. Here it's Razor Fist. Perhaps Maduro should have considered not deploying Venezuelan military assets to guard cartel drug boats and threatened... Okay, whatever.
By the way,
Venezuela didn't want to get...
That sounds, Razor, like, honestly. Oh my goodness, Venezuela were threatened to drop troops in America. Oh, we're so terrified. We had to overthrow the place.
Just workshopping ideas here. If
I
Venezuela didn't want to get bombed, they should have released its prison they shouldn't have released its prison population into the migrant caravans. My fucking god. Venezuela fired the first shot. Had to be done. Boo-hoo and wah.
Remember a couple of years back when someone nearly took out Maduro just by flying a helicopter into his palace and just lobbing hand grenades about?
Dude, shut up and play house with your overweight wife. Cry harder. Shut up, pussy. Shut up. By the way, these are all on January 3rd. I think a lot of these people are starting to change their fucking tune by now. I'm not sure how many, but I bet a lot of them feel a little silly. I bet a lot of them feel a little stupid.
I feel like you guys care an awful lot more about these retards than anyone else.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm illustrating.
Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't go through the comments.
Yeah. So, immediately, though, is, okay, do Greenland next. Trump's latest, UK involved in U.S. seizure of oil tanker in North Atlantic as Russia sends warnings.
That well-known narco state of Greenland.
Yeah. Would the U.S. target Greenland? Rubio says he'll meet with Danish officials next week. What? This is hideous. Speaking of reporters in Washington,
this is the ultimate. Why did you say fuck me for? Like, what the fuck, Greenland?
I'm not here to talk about Denmark or military intervention. I'll be meeting with them next week. We'll have those conversations then. I don't have anything further to add to that. Both Denmark and Greenland said in separate statements yesterday they had made a strong request to meet with Rubio to discuss Trump administration's comments on the latter. Donald Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland is not new, Rubio says. He's talked about it. Yeah. So Trump's trying to get Greenland.
Shove NATO troops there.
And putting Rubio in front face of this as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, Rubio's also been a relentless warhawk.
And he is a relentless warhawk, and he has been the face of this. And in fact, it's not just Greenland. Literally just buy Greenland, take it
Much
next.
like he usually takes Bolton places when he wants to try and rattle him up a bit, because he just wants that seething warhawking retard just stood behind him at all times, just like wanting to just call
like Grimo Wormtongue, yeah. In all these instances, he is. But it's also take my home country next, or at least country of my parental origin.
When it's Donald Trump, all these Democrats go bonkers.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah, the Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble. Yes, I'm not.
That's a yes. What do Cuba and Venezuela have in common? What could Cuba and Venezuela at least have in common? They also have something in common with another country, but I'll get there in a minute.
I'm going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard. But I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here.
If that's the case, then how did you do such a good job for Castro and such a shit job for Maduro?
Mm-hmm.
Essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Dulce Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was.
Oh, well, we better go after Cuba. He is really laying this out. Really laying it out. We really do have to go after Cuba next. We have to topple Cuba.
Guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who.
This woman's telling him to shut up.
No traitors.
Even.
Those are all Cubans.
All right.
Yep, all right. Okay. And Iran. This is, of course, from Israel Hayom, which I've selected on purpose. Following the dramatic operation in Venezuela, the U.S. is presenting Iran with a new threat. Sanctions and mounting pressure could force the Ayatollahs to reconsider their regional policy. Iran may find itself facing a shrinking sphere of influence in the Middle East because of Venezuela's trade agreements with Iran. Focus on the capture of Maduro. Focus on Venezuela is relevant for another reason, one far more significant for Israel, Iran. The two countries have been declared allies since Maduro's predecessor, Hugo Chavez, took power in Venezuela. Chavez severed the South American country's ties with Israel in 2009, following Operation Cast Lead in Gaza. Iran is undoubtedly watching developments in South America closely, not only out of concern, but for a close ally, but primarily out of fear it could be next. The possibility was echoed by Senator Lindsey Graham, who said that if he were in place of Iran's supreme leader, he would hurry and pray in a mosque. It's hard to know whether this was idle talk or a deliberate hint. It's also difficult to resist the temptation to draw comparisons between the two countries, despite their many differences. Both are ruled by repressive and widely despised regimes.
What was that operation that got them to flip on the issue, out of curiosity?
Cast lead.
That sounds like an extraordinary nefarious thing.
Sure does.
Certainly some kind of war crime. Or does anyone care to look up what that was?
Mm-hmm. For now, there's no signs that Washington intends to strike Tehran. Despite open hopes voiced in Israel, there are also no indications that the Iranian regime is on the verge of collapse. The Arabs, they are protesting right now, but the Arab Spring and the revolutions that followed, including last year, you get the idea. Take Greenland, take Cuba, take Iran. I wonder why that might be the case. Venezuela, Iran risk losing a key economic and military ally. Tehran and Caracas have maintained close ties with each other, notably to circumvent the sanctions against both countries. Every time the U.S. repeats these types of actions, the result is doomed to fail. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas I'm not going to try it. Said as he appeared before the National Security and Foreign Wars Committee of the Iranian Parliament in Tehran on Monday, January 5th, 2 days after the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was captured by U.S. forces. 4 days before the American attack, the Venezuelan military had officially commissioned Iranian Mohajer-6 combat drones, which have also been deployed by Russia in Ukraine. For now, Iran is insisting its ties with Venezuela, which is now led on an interim basis by former Vice President and Chavista loyalist Dulce Rodriguez, remains unchanged. Our relations with countries including Venezuela are based on mutual respect and will remain so. This is just the basic. Is there any more to this? Yeah, I'm not going to, obviously, behind a paywall. It's Le Monde. I used to have a Le Monde subscription, but briefly. Interesting, though, I could only find European sources talking about stuff like that, for some reason, and Israeli ones. Is that, yeah, there is a relationship between Iran and Venezuela, and it's saying, well, let's get rid of Iran and let's get rid of Venezuela. And then the question is, you know, what do they all have in... What do they all have to do with each other? Is there any kind of similarities here? Oh, this is the next. We read this actually before, this article, and I couldn't re-find it, from Israel Hayom, which is talking about, since Hugo Chavez's rise to power, Venezuela has become one of the most hostile countries to Israel and Zionism in Latin America. Speaking of Chavez, his successor continued the anti-Israeli line with even more intensity. Thus, Venezuela, which previously maintained warmed relations with Israel and even purchased security technologies from it, became a center of hostile propaganda towards Zionism and the Jewish state.
Defense equipment from Russia like they do currently, which is the reason why there's a bunch of memes about the anti-air system that was meant to be protecting the capital when the Yanks just rolled in and just did nothing.
Mm-hmm. This is a question that was asked of the woman who's going to be the president of Venezuela. Will you restore diplomatic relations with Israel and establish Venezuela's embassy location near Jerusalem, as Trump did? Certainly, Venezuela will be Israel's closest ally in Latin America, and we'll see more about that in a bit. I also want to go through, before I reveal as to what these countries have to do with each other, because yeah, they do have something to do with each other, at least Iran and Venezuela. There's the timeline of events. This was on the 29th, I think, was it not? Let me double check my notes here. This was on December 29th. Trump met with Netanyahu in Florida, saying they were turning their focus on the Middle East, specifically Iran, big topic of conversation. The next day, on January 1st, Maduro said he was open to trade with the U.S. the day after this meeting. Open to U.S. talks on drug trafficking, but keeps mum on CIA strike. Venezuela is open to negotiating an agreement with the U.S. to combat drug trafficking, the South American country's president, Nicolas Maduro, said in a pre-taped interview that aired on Thursday on state television, but declined to comment on a CIA-led strike last week at Venezuelan docking area that the Trump administration believed was used by cartels. So there was preceded by a strike on so-called cartels, right? He asked, what are they seeking? It's clear they seek to impose themselves through threats, intimidation, and force, Maduro said, later adding that it's time for both nations to start talking seriously with data in hand. The U.S. government knows, because we have told many of their spokespeople, that if they want to seriously discuss an agreement to combat drug trafficking, we are ready, he said. If they want oil, Venezuela is ready for U.S. investment, like with Chevron, whenever they want it, and however they want it. January 1st. Interesting. And then the next day, he was captured. How curious. Somebody has a vested interest in getting Iran out of the picture, and therefore one of Iran's allies, and that is Israel, by the way, as we read. This happened on, this is Jack Keane. He made a little bit of a Freudian clip here.
The implications here are really great for the Venezuelan people.
I mean, I think that might have been a flub. However, they are some great implications for Israel. JPTDM for 10 says, part of me wishes this was just, quote, we are the imperial power of the world and we will replace an unruly vassal whenever we wish, end quote. But I know it's just not that. It's not just that. I wish we could stop with the gay lies. I know, me too. But hey, we're stopping drug trafficking, and the U.S. is gonna get all this oil money from Venezuela because we've conquered it, despite the fact that the existing regime is still very much in power. But there's some other things that Israel said recently that may be of note, or that people related to Israel have said recently that are of some note related to this, about free speech. And I have noticed, again, talking about how people really do not want you to say anything about this stuff. It's very much, no, this is a win for America. And if you say anything about Israel whatsoever related to it, shut up, you're a stinky commie, like Hassan Piker, which they've spent the last couple of years setting up.
Network, Shlomo Kramer also. And
by that I mean, you don't just, like, so Hassan Piker doesn't become the #1 streamer on Twitch out of absolutely nowhere, right? He is, particularly considering his countless and unending violations of Twitch's terms of service. He's been propped up. And what does he do? Sit there and be a low IQ retard, calling everything he doesn't like Israel and Zionism all day, every day. So that now regular people, when they hear something Israel, they go, oh, you must be a stinky commie like Hassan Piker, or others of his ilk. He's just one example, of course.
Network, Shlomo Kramer also.
Shlomo Kramer.
Shlomo Kramer might be one of the most aggressively Jewish names I've ever heard.
It's not vile Shlomo, but it's pretty bad. Now, this is the day that Trump was set to meet with Netanyahu as well.
It's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How is AI, cyber warfare, shaping geopolitics right now?
So AI is going to revolutionize cyber warfare, is revolutionize cyber warfare from critical infrastructure to the fabric of society and politics.
Did you say something, Bill?
Just outwardly villainous.
I know. Actually, Bill, when you get a chance, would you grab me a drink? Because
yeah, Bill's back on his fucking personal assistant art.
Bill, it's because I have to go up and down stairs and my legs don't work. And I almost have to run the stream. Thank you, sir.
Politics and undermining it giving unfair advantage to authoritarian governments against democratic countries. First Amendment type of...
That's already happening?
That's already happening. You're seeing...
Already happening. First Amendment restrictions.
The polarization in countries that allow for the First Amendment and protect it, which is great. And I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. You better shut the fuck up about Israel. And the fascinating thing is that there's MAGA people out there right now reinforcing it. They don't even need to have enforced by the government. They will enforce it themselves by trying to shut down people like Spoon, by trying to shut up people like Dank, for just nudicing, for telling the fucking truth. Well, First Amendment's great and all, but in order to protect it, we gotta restrict it.
And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
Before it's too late.
We need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every...
Bill, if you're saying something, I can hear you downstairs, but you're muted. Hello?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, I couldn't hear him.
Every person that...
Did you hear Bill just now?
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I was asking. Never mind. Oh, he was talking. He must have been talking to someone else. Sorry.
And take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah, the government can control the social media. I love that this CNBC panel just sitting here being like, yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much, Bill.
Do that. And we need to educate people against ICE, and government need to develop cyber defense programs that are as sophisticated as the cyber attack. Today it's a 1 to 100 ratio. And really government are not doing this today at any rate.
Oh, terrible, terrible. No, Bill was just talking to me. He was not talking on mic. This was, there is a theme here related to that. Related to censorship stuff and freedom of speech and, freedom ain't free, I guess. In order to be free, you need to have your speech curtailed a little bit, obviously.
It's almost unbelievable that he said that on camera. Imagine.
Oh, he was talking about Netanyahu here.
Unbelievable that he said that on camera. Imagine. This is a foreign leader bragging about how he's censoring Americans. Again, this guy runs a country of 9 million people that's totally dependent on our tax dollars to exist. And here he is on camera saying, anyone who opposes me in the United States, who opposes more aid to Israel or opposes getting sucked into war with Iran, which does not serve American interests, that person is not simply mistaken or wrong. I'm not going to bother to explain why that person is wrong. That person is a Nazi, part of the woke Reich, a Nazi. And the only way to fix it is by preventing...
Are you starting to feel a little bit silly? If anyone who's watching this who engaged in that and told Dankula or anyone else talking about this, told them to shut up, said, yeehaw, let's go, America's back, baby, over this. You're starting to feel a little bit silly?
Americans...
I don't want to, dunk on people, but come on now. This is, that's playing their game.
Last country on earth with guaranteed freedom of speech prevent Americans from hearing the other side. And so we push Congress to force a TikTok sale, which is true, by the way. Here he is just admitting, no, we push the U.S. Congress to censor in the United States, to commit censorship in the United States because we think it's bad for us. And we need to talk to Elon. Free speech is central to the entire idea of America. In fact, it's really the only thing that sets us apart from any other country on earth. And here's this guy, a foreign head of state, who, let me restate, is totally dependent on our tax dollars to exist, is saying Americans don't have that right, and he's going to do some kind of secret pressure campaign on Elon Musk to censor X because it bothers Israel?
I think you're going to see that, maybe. Again, it might not even have to be...
You don't need totally to lean on Elon. Elon is got pride more than anything else.
True. He does.
What you need to do is lean on the Indians that run his infrastructure. That's why
that as well.
the H-1Bs are so fucking good, because they are toadies to the Israelis. Yeah. The Indians would drag their nuts across broken glass just to fucking hear an Israeli fart for a walkie-talkie.
True. Here's a similar sentiment from head of the Jewish diaspora, Jordan Cutler. I'll be right back. I also have to grab. I'm going to grab an allergy pill because, damn.
In addition to my work leading the Israel public policy team, I created a new role specifically focused on the Jewish diaspora. It is a privilege to represent Meta to Jewish communities worldwide. I am proud that Meta's commitment to addressing anti-Semitism on our platforms has remained steadfast, especially after October 7th. Our policies are industry-leading in protecting Jewish people and Israelis on our platforms. Our community standards include policies that prevent harassment, violence, and incitement, and include a robust framework to combat anti-Semitism. Our hateful conduct policy includes specific protections for Israelis and Jews. We banned Holocaust denial and distortion back in 2020. We changed industry thinking on this issue, designating denial as hate speech rather than misinformation. It wasn't just about facts.
I mean, Bill, you're cut out again.
I love having the Discord just not work.
It's fun,
randomly, yeah,
isn't it? I mean, just how curious, yeah. It's not just, you can't just have an opinion. It's hate speech to have an opinion. It doesn't matter. It's an opinion. Whatever you think, you are allowed to have an opinion. That's a key part of being an American. And yet, there are people who you know, are going along with this and going, no, shut up. Just let me have this win. I need a win so bad that I can't hear.
Morale's important, but this is a gay and homeless win. If this is the win you want, then you don't deserve a win.
If this is the win that you were waiting for,
you can do better. You can hold out for better.
What are the losses going to look like if this is your win? You know?
It was about protecting people from harmful conduct. We banned content with harmful stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions.
I mean, I can't imagine why anyone would make a joke about that.
We updated our policies to recognize that the term Zionist can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media, and we do not.
She gives a speech on controlling the media.
I know it's so palpable. Well, we ban anyone saying that we run the media because we run the media. Well,
I've got to see a man about chicken.
Good fucking God! Like you.
No, their God ain't good.
True. No, you know mine is. But what it's so patently absurd to say, well, we ban people saying we run the media because we have the capacity to influence the media to the degree that we can do that? What? Circle that square for me, Jordana.
Allow for dehumanizing comparisons of Zionists. It's a delicate balance between safety and expression. My role is to ensure that the voices of Israelis and the Jewish community are heard in this policy-making process.
I'm sure it is. And nobody else's, yep. So, as I said, and as we talked about, the Venezuelan government's still there, and they're blaming Israel, by the way. So, I mean, there's no, unless you can speak Spanish, but I'll read it out. Governments around the world are simply shocked that the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is a victim and target of an attack of this nature, which undoubtedly has a Zionist tinge. It's truly shameful. Our father liberator said it in the Jamaica letter. The veil has been torn. We have already seen the light, and they want to drag us back into darkness. The chains have been broken. We have already been free, and our enemies intend to enslave us again. There is one thing that the Venezuelan people and this country are absolutely clear about, is that we will never again be slaves. All of Venezuela is mobilized, and the decree that has already been signed by President Maduro.
That's going to go down well.
Yeah. The only president of Venezuela, there is one president in this country, and his name is Nicolas Maduro Moros. So, I mean, we totally captured Venezuela, though, right? We just run the country now. What? Okay. Rat Chasing Number 2 says, they don't hear themselves talk, do they? No, I don't think so. I think sometimes they really don't.
The guys of the highest IQ racial group, for real, they're definitely not being propped up by a bunch of anomalies and testing issues.
Speaking of, Your new La Presidente, sir. Here she is. I did mention her earlier, and I read some quotes from her. Here's Maria
Make her a
Corina
chick, make it
Machado.
fucking go.
I would like to thank Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. I promise we one day will have a close relationship between Venezuela and Israel. I myself look forward to visit the State of Israel as soon as we conquer freedom.
As soon as we conquer freedom? I know what I think she means is as soon as we have freedom in Venezuela. But it's such a crazy misspeak or way of phrasing it, right? Yeah, why are they acting like the president is a king? Because everyone thinks, as we talk about here a lot, I think, everyone ends up treating the president as a king. Because it's just, monarchy is sort of the natural state of governance. That's the most naturalistic order of it. So people inherently still end up thinking of the president as a king.
We will and I can announce this, that our government will move our Israeli embassy to Jerusalem.
Wow. Very cool. So, regarding this woman, the response was, "Oh, Trump doesn't like her. He's not gonna let her do that." Trump says Venezuelan opposition leader doesn't have the respect to govern after Maduro ousted. Trump has said the Venezuelan opposition doesn't have the respect to the country to govern. U.S. leads a series of strikes. We got that. As of today, Nicolas Maduro faces international justice for the atrocious crimes committed against the Venezuelan people and against the citizens of many other nations. In the light of his refusal to accept a negotiated solution, the government of the United States has fulfilled its promise to uphold the rule of law, Machado said. Trump, who said he has not been in contact with Machado, sure thing, said during a press conference on Saturday that he doesn't believe she can assume the leadership role in Venezuela. I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support or respect within the country. She's a very nice woman. She doesn't have the respect. Does she? How many Americans respect Trump? I mean, it's hard to have less. True. However, this to me seems like a bit of bloviating. Again, this whole thing, isn't it interesting? There was this whole news cycle about this woman in particular being given the Nobel Peace Prize that Trump wanted. It was his by right. The right, MAGA went all in on that. That's Trump's award. He did, fuck the Nobel Peace Prize because they won't give Trump his award for ending all those wars. Instead, they gave it to this woman who's going to share it with Trump. What a picture, Euronews. Holy fuck. My God.
Why do we have so many pictures of these people in this exact pose?
Oh my God.
It's uncanny. They all seem to have done this as like their default at some
because
point.
I always have my speed reader app on, so I didn't see the picture. I didn't know.
Someone's still going to at me on Twitter asking me what kind of flavor of Hebrew this is, but Jesus Christ.
Machado said toppling Venezuelan President Maduro, huge step for humanity and freedom and dignity. Wowee.
Blah, blah, blah. More bullshit that means nothing to these people because they are human beings.
They talk, of course, about the Nobel Peace Prize. Speaking to Fox News on Monday, Machado said she would share the prize with Trump. I certainly would love to be able to personally tell him that we believe the Venezuelan people, because this is a prize of the Venezuelan people, certainly want to give it to him and share it with him.
God, that was a dick sucking even by fucking magatard standards. Well, that was.
What am I even supposed to say? She's going to return to Venezuela as soon as possible.
Along with no one else.
Looney Lenny for 5 says, what is the Jewish-Israeli interest in having so much influence over the West? It's influence.
They want the full
over
of Edom
America.
so that they can explain the end times.
There's that. Yes. I mean, more practically, though, it's because the U.S. is the most powerful country in the world. And if you control the United States...
with a lot of clout and not a lot of sense.
Yeah. If you control the U.S., in many ways, you control the world. At least a big stake in it, Spoonie, are you still there? Am I...
Cultural and military hegemony are important.
Have I nudist too much for you?
He's got... Brick's got him.
Which one was, Right, this was what we brought up earlier. I said I'd bring it up when it was, it made more sense within the flow of things. Harry posted about this. Paul Singer, billionaire Trump mega donor set to make a killing in Venezuela. In November 2025, less than 2 months before Trump's Operation Takeover Venezuela, Singer's investment firm, I can't talk. There, Singer's investment firm, Elliott Investment Management, inked a highly fortuitous deal. It purchased Citgo, a U.S.-based subsidiary of Venezuela's state-owned oil company, for $5.9 billion, a sale that was forced by a Delaware court after Venezuela defaulted on its bond payments. The court-appointed special master who forced the sale, Robert Pincus, is a member of the board of directors for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, also known as AIPAC. Wow. So who's going to benefit from all that Israeli oil? Or that, excuse me, I know I did the thing. Who's going to benefit from all that Venezuelan oil then, exactly? Who's benefiting?
Big hiss scratch that was.
I mean, look, your gas prices are going to go down, guys.
5 cents.
I swear. For sure this time. It'll be, I mean, you still won't be able to buy a home or a car.
100-year mortgages.
Surprisingly, cars
100-year mortgages will get you set up. Go ahead.
Curiously, cars are one of the few things that haven't massively gone up as everything has inflated over the past couple years, which I am curious about. I don't know why that's the case, but I have looked at the data on that, and it is so.
Because they want people to be buying the petrol guzzlers for when,
yes.
when the next round of changes goes through and they try and force through green only.
I didn't know if I wanted to go that far with it, but maybe that's it, you know?
They want you buying in now so that for obsolescence later on down the line.
So I asked earlier, what does Iran have in common with Cuba and Venezuela? In Venezuela. Not Greenland, but Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba. Well, and I've pulled this up for you because this is a debunking article, and I'm going to show you what they're going to debunk because their debunking is really funny. You've probably seen this a lot on Twitter because people have been posting about this. In the year 2000, there were 9 countries without a Rothschild-owned or controlled, let me reread that, Rothschild-owned or controlled central bank. I'm emphasizing this because this article is a bunch of fluff that just goes, oh, it's not owned by someone named Rothschild, so this is fake news. Okay. There are, however, 9 countries as of 2000 that didn't have a central bank that was arguably influenced by the Rothschilds. Afghanistan, Iraq, Sudan, Libya, Cuba, North Korea, Iran, Syria, Venezuela.
Literally,
let's go knock over Cuba next. And then we knock over Iran. Or maybe in reverse.
Well, Iran's knocking itself over at the present.
Well, yeah, true. However, isn't that interesting timing? I mean, the U.S. would never do a color revolution in a foreign country.
I just feel like we've been like each week for the last couple of weeks has just been like some variation on this thing.
And I'm sorry if I sound completely schizo. It's because you're. I don't know. In my opinion, it's quite obvious. They're not very good at hiding this shit. It only sounds schizo because it's
not schizophrenic. It's just a basic grasp of American history.
It's so out in the open. You just have to notice just a little bit. A little bit. Pure Stress for 2 says, I want to hear Trump say it Venezuela now. That's how you see it. Again, I can't help myself. I did originally come from the South. That's how we say it down there. That's Venezuela. Analog Mind for 10
I enjoy
says,
that. It takes a lot of effort for her to try and revert her voice.
It does, because I've been speaking with this non-regional diction since I was 10 years old, and I got bullied for having I guess I was 11. I used to have a southern accent, naturally. Analog Mind for 10 says, I unironically implore you to consider Alex Jones' analysis of Venezuela's situation, both in the clip I replied to this stream's post on X and in the coverage with Intel People he's done the past 6 weeks. Yeah, I have looked at some of Alex Jones's stuff. Let's see. This analysis of how long is it? It's 28 minutes or 26 minutes, so I probably won't play it on air, but I will check that out later because I haven't seen this clip. Thank you, man. And thank you for the super chat. I'm interested in seeing what AJ has to say about it because I'm not sure where he falls on the fell for it again or not chart. I didn't look into it too much. Anyway, so what they are debunking here is that they're not owned by someone named Rothschild. This otherwise is true. There's a couple countries on this list that I think Trump wants to go after, and they're just straight up saying, we go after Cuba. I mean, Afghanistan and Iraq, you know, after 2000, obviously spent years at war with them. So you've got Cuba, Iran, Venezuela. Just a bit interesting. There's also, of course, the petrodollar. This is a really long post. This guy goes over it in detail. I think it's worth reading. Spoon or Bill, would one of you give me a minute to rest my voice? It's mostly so long because he breaks it up, but we can just read it. How much of it you find interesting? But this is a really, really good write-up on explaining the entire history of this. Spoon, this seems like your kind of alley.
The U.S. is invading Venezuela goes back to a deal Henry Kissinger made with Saudi Arabia in 1974. And I'm going to explain why this is actually about the survival of the U.S. petrodollar itself. Not drugs, not terrorism, not democracy. This is about the petrodollar system that has kept the Americans dominant economic power for 50 years, and Venezuela just threatened to end it. Here's what really just happened. Venezuela has 303 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. I'm not really sure about that, actually. The largest on Earth, more than Saudi Arabia, 20% of the entire world's oil. But here's the part that matters. Venezuela was actively selling the oil in Chinese yuan, not dollars. In 2018, Venezuela announced that it would be free itself from the dollar. They started accepting yuan, euros, rubles, anything but dollars for oil. There were petitions to join BRICS. That is true. They were building direct payment channels with China that bypass SWIFT entirely. That's the American banking system, by the way. And they were sitting on enough oil to defund de-dollarization for decades. Why does this matter? Because the entire American financial system is built on one thing, the petrodollar. In 1974, Henry Kissinger made a deal with Saudi Arabia. All oil sold globally must be priced in US dollars. In exchange, America provides military protection. This single agreement created artificial demand for dollars worldwide. Every country on earth needs dollars to buy oil. This lets America print unlimited amounts of money while other countries work for it. It funds the military, the welfare state, the deficit spending. The petrodollar is more importantly to U.S. Hegemony than U.S. aircraft carriers. So the petrodollar is more important to U.S. hegemony than aircraft carriers. Let's go down. Let's see. There is a there we go. And there's a pattern of what happens to leaders who challenge it. 2000, Saddam Hussein announced Iraqi oil in euros instead of dollars. Told you. 2003 invaded. Regime change. Iraq's oil immediately switched back to the dollars. Saddam lynched. Weapons of mass destruction were never found because they never existed. 2009, Gaddafi proposed a gold-backed African currency called gold dinners for oil trade. God damn, I'm good. Hillary Clinton leaked emails, confirmed that was the primary reason for intervention. Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Email, gold has intended to reestablish Pan-African currency based on the Libyan golden dinner. 2011, NATO bombs Libya. Gaddafi sodomized and murdered Libya and now has open slave markets. Okay, this is what Dank referred to. We came, we saw, he died. Yeah, there we go. Clinton laughed on camera. The gold dinner died with him. And now Maduro. With 5 times more oil than Saddam and Gaddafi combined, actively selling in yuan. Building payment systems outside the dollar control, petitioning to join BRICS, partnered with China, Russia, and Iran. The 3 countries leading global de-dollarization. This isn't coincidence. Challenge the petrodollar, get regime changed every single time. Stephen Miller, U.S. Homeland Security advisor, literally said it out loud 2 weeks ago. American sweat, ingenuity, and toil created the oil industry in Venezuela. That's bollocks. Its tyrannical expropriation was the largest recorded theft of American wealth and property. I think AIPAC is responsible for that.
And this is the language people are using. It's our oil. Venezuela owes us this oil, so it is ours by right to take.
Yeah, they're claiming Venezuelan oil belongs to... Scroll up a little bit. Belongs to America because the U.S. companies developed it over 100 years ago. By this logic, every nationalized resource in history was theft. But here's the deeper problem. The petrodollar is already dying. Russia sells oil in rubles and yuan since Ukraine. Saudi Arabia is openly discussing yuan settlements. Iran has been... That's smart, by the way, because the Saudis can essentially not be fucked with. So, that's kind of like a pretty... ballsy fuck you from Saudis. Iran has been trading in non-dollar currency for years. China built CIPS, their own alternatives to SWIFT, with 4,800 banks in 185 countries. Interesting, I didn't know that. BRICS is actively building payment systems that bypass the dollar entirely. The Enbridge project.
Enbridge, I guess. Yeah.
Let central banks settle trades instantly in local currencies. Venezuela joining BRICS with 303 billion barrels of oil would accelerate this exponentially. That's what this invasion is really about. Not stopping drugs, Venezuela accounts for less than 1% of U.S. cocaine. Not terrorism.
And pretty much none of the fentanyl either.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you wondering, the terrorism that he's speaking of, it's because they're apparently housing and training Hezbollah.
Yeah.
That was the reason.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Not democracy. The U.S. supports Saudi Arabia, which has 0 elections. Well done. This is about maintaining a 50-year-old agreement that lets America print money while the world works for it. And the consequences are terrifying. Russia, China, and Iran are already denouncing this as armed aggression. Yeah, that's because it is. China is Venezuela's biggest oil customer. Told you. They're losing billions.
Yeah, not the United States again,
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, when they say the biggest oil, that's because a bunch of people are trying to get it. And China is just one of them. But that does not mean that the biggest person that buys the oil or the biggest seller or the biggest country that China purchases, fucking hell, I'm fucked up with that. The biggest oil that buys, I can't talk to the biggest
He's reverting back into Afrikaans, or no, he's devolving.
No, I think the biggest was Saudi Arabia, then Iran, and less than 4%.
Most likely.
Is Venezuelan oil, and also it goes to America. It goes to China to get processed because
yeah.
And
again, it sounded like Maduro under pressure was absolutely, because he clearly was under pressure, was willing to trade.
Yeah. The BRICS nations are watching a country get invaded for trading outside the dollar. Every nation considering de-dollarization just got the message: challenge the dollar and we will bomb you. But here's the problem. Their message might accelerate de-dollarization, not stop it, because now every country in the global south knows what will happen if they are threatening dollar hegemony. And they're already realizing that the protection is to move faster. The timing is insane too. January the 3rd, 2026, Venezuela invaded, Maduro captured. January 3rd, 1990,
this is important. This is about
Panama invaded, Noriega. Ah, yes. For those of you who don't know this, General Noriega was trained by, you guessed it, the CIA.
CIA. Yep.
Yeah, then told
nothing ever changes.
Yeah, exactly.
36 years apart, almost to the day.
Oh, by the way,
same drug trafficking excuse.
Yeah, if you want to watch a really good documentary on the cocaine trade during this period, specifically the Medellin cartel, there's a documentary called Cocaine Cowboys, which is fucking insane. And one of the lead guys there is one of the guys who worked for the cartel was a guy by the name of John Roberts. He wrote a book called, I think, American Desperado.
Yeah. Yes,
that's a really interesting book. And my good God, they were pulling off some insane shit.
Yeah. Let's see. The opposition will be installed. It will flow in dollars again. Venezuela becomes another Iraq, another Libya. Here's what nobody's asking. Yeah, when you got that part right. Yeah. That's the important part. When BRICS controls 40% of GDP and says no more dollars, when the world realizes the petrodollar is maintained by violence, America just showed its hand. The question is whether the rest of the world folds or calls the bluff. Venezuela is not the beginning, as he says here. They were already laying out the other countries that they want to fuck with. And it's Cuba and Iran.
One of them.
And they're both not trading petrodollar.
By the way, is especially the Iranian one. Guess which country is most in favor of Iran being knocked off?
Israel, because of course they're Muslim extremists. It's a threat right on their border.
You know when someone says just like "fuck off, leave me alone," it's like yeah, maybe that's the reason why.
Much as how Maduro had not nice things to say about Israel, nor did Hugo Chavez. Now, I've heard conflicting reports about this. The reality is, it appears it is true that his tomb was bombed. I think the official narrative on this now is that this was an accident.
Yeah.
Just a complete accident.
It wasn't on purpose.
The Israelis have a long history of desecrating burial places of people who, in their opinion, they had wronged them. Look at it,
they might have wronged them.
Basically, anyone who talks the slightest amount of shit about them. We see this
Could that include Hugo Chavez?
Yes, we see this with people going from Israel to Rome just to spit on Titus's monuments, which is still psychotic to me.
I know,
Yeah.
but there it is. And here's
yeah.
Hugo Chavez on Israel. You all right, Spin?
Yeah, Andrew messaged me something funny. He said to me, have you seen Nick Fuentes' Telegram? And I asked why. He's like, he keeps getting ratioed left, right, and center.
Yeah, he's been getting
Which is rather
ratioed hard.
funny.
Everyone saw what he did. He was like, yeah, let's take their oil. A real low IQ Rube take. And I'm sorry, we're moved past the point where at this point, if you're following that kind of line of bullshit after everything I've shown you guys, come on now.
Yeah,
and Nick Fuentes is supposed to know this stuff. But he fell for it anyway. So what did Andrew say? What's happening on Nick's Telegram? He's just still getting ratioed?
Apparently, I haven't looked at what they...
I mean, I can't imagine how you would have thought that would have gone over well with your audience of gripers who are professional noticers. Like, what, man?
Yeah, that's... Like, really? Like, Nick, you do realize if you make your entire gimmick, I won't say like the face of anti-Semitism, but like that's the thing you're trying to push a lot. Yeah, you're going to get mauled.
When you don't recognize these obvious connections. I consider geopolitics to be the area of politics of anything that I do that I'm actually by far the weakest on. I don't consider myself well versed in geopolitics compared to a lot of people that I know, compared to you, Spoon. However, so if I'm noticing this, and one thing that I also noticed, and I don't have anything pulled up for this, but I'll just mention this now here. One thing I did notice on just browsing through Twitter and doing my normal stuff, like getting the vibes, as it were, of the room. The people who were doing the most slop posting, USA, let's go, America's back baby stuff, they were almost exclusively men, with a couple of exceptions. I saw a lot of women, including Candace Owens, by the way, who immediately pulled up the Israel connection, who pulled out the connection to Iran. I don't know if she did, but I saw a lot of women doing that. And I think it's because, why are women, for once, ever, what? Oh, because I'm saying nudist, as in N-U-D-I-S-T instead of nutis, or notice with two O's. My bad. Anyway, I noticed some women, it was a far higher percentage of women getting this right. And that's weird because that's never the case. What do you mean? More women are correct?
Men are more blood simple, men have a certain, like... Yeah.
I'll tell you here's my hypothesis. Yeah, that's it. But it's like, when Charlie Kirk was shot, I was very emotionally affected by that. I saw a lot of women be emotionally affected by that because, I mean, obviously that affects anybody, but I think, oh, he's a young father, that kind of thing really affects women. That made me maybe not make the best, and I don't think I necessarily had the best take on all of that at the time, because I was emotional about that. In a way, I'm not normally about news and politics. Whereas this, with like, wow, we blew him up and we captured their president and it looks like an album cover. Totally, in the same way that the Charlie Kirk assassination warps the female brain's ability to comprehend things more than normal, which is a lot. I think that, like, all of the propaganda, and I'm going to call it that, around this, the imagery, totally appeals to the male brain. It is awesome. I wouldn't deny this. Like, it looks cool. You want to root for it. Not only because you want to win, but because you want to have a cool military victory. This is just propaganda aimed at men. It's more directed at men. Anyway, here's Hugo Chavez's opinions on the Jews in Israel.
Nos acusa a nosotros, a mí me acusan.
They accuse us of sponsoring terrorism. They're the ones who sponsor terrorism. I take this opportunity to once again condemn the depths of my soul, the state of Israel. Damn you, state of Israel. I love the switch to the clapping, sorry. What was that, Spoon?
Based.
Bill, what'd you say?
The Nick Fuentes of his age.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Damn you, terrorists and murderers. Yeah, I wonder why. Isn't it weird that Chavez's grave got blown up? Just an accident. A little oopsie. A little bit of an oopsie daisy there. I don't know what's going on.
A little bit.
Now here, this is a clip from a 2009 documentary with the president of Israel at the time saying Venezuela and Iran are the only two countries who spread anti-Semitism. and that they've got secret plans for Venezuela they can't say on camera.
Suddenly, I'm very pro-Venezuela.
I wanted to ask you since we met last about the issue of Venezuela, because I heard voices kind of saying it's not so bad, and Latin America is not so bad, but I'm not convinced. And the question
You
is,
have good reason not to be convinced. You have good reason. It is getting worse.
Right.
And little by little, as long as oil money works.
I'm told that by our experts, it's the only, except for Iran, it's the only government propagated anti-Semitism today around the world. It's a
Oh, the only one in 2009. The only other one.
Right.
This is
First
quite
within
scary.
the country and then outside.
So are you pressing in any way?
We've talked to Jesse Jackson, who has a relationship, but
Jesse Jackson?
it's not
Yeah. Yeah.
Of all the people okay, if you told me what names do you think this motherfucker is going to bring up, Jesse Jackson, not on my bingo card.
Everyone's on the dole, man.
What?
Everyone. I mean, like, it's. Look, I'm not saying it's every single time, but it keeps being
But it is
a
every
lot
single
of the time. Statistically. Look, I'm just speaking as a statistician. It seems quite consistent. It's what we call a trend, you know? There's a statistical relationship here. It's non-random.
there are other plans.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
There are other plans. We'll talk about it in a minute. Wow. This is interesting as well. Justice Department quietly admits terrorist cartel isn't real. Officials took Venezuela, took a Venezuelan phrase for corrupt leaders as a real organization, according to Maduro, of being its head. Justice Department significantly reduced reference to the Cartel de los Soles in an updated indictment of Venezuelan President Maduro, who's been charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy and other charges. Maduro pleaded not guilty because they immediately had him in court. I mean, within hours. The original 2020 grand jury indictment mentioned the Cartel de los Soles 32 times and referred to Maduro as its head. The amended indictment, released on Saturday, only includes the phrase twice and now describes it as a patronage system and removed the explicit reference to these officials are literal members of the cartel. The phrase, meaning cartel of the sons in English, was coined by Venezuelan journalists in the 1990s as shorthand for leaders corrupted by drug money, not an actual cartel. The name refers to the sun symbols on many high-ranking officials' uniforms. So the cartel we were going after doesn't exist. At least by the official documents. It's a nickname for corrupt politicians. What?
Yeah, I recall a vague post about this, that essentially the State Department can designate some or other gang and make it narco, and so it can be gone after on an executive level. And then once they capture, they can just say, "Oh, this isn't real." They could just basically scrub it.
What's the point now? Just be like, "Whoops."
Yeah, they basically make an artificial scapegoat, sort of.
And I want to point out
and to justify
at this point,
why
speaking
they're
of,
chasing him.
where I had to go to find this article, if you didn't already see. This is Salon. I could not find any right-wing outlets reporting on this.
I wonder why.
I had to go to Salon.
That says a lot.
Yeah. Doesn't it, though? It's little bits like that. Where it's like, I couldn't find a good article about that
Several
anywhere.
years ago, and I know that some lefties actually wrote for Salon.
Yeah. Yeah. The other reason why the drug argument doesn't hold up is, what was Honduras' ex-president convicted of, and why has Trump pardoned him? This was in December.
Yeah.
Juan Orlando Hernandez, former president of Honduras, has walked free after President Donald Trump pardoned him. 400 pounds of cocaine.
No, tons, not pounds.
Tons, not pounds, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know why my brain translated that. 400 tons of cocaine. Tons of cocaine. Quite literally. A mountain of cocaine. But that's fine. We got to go after Maduro, but not this guy. In fact, pardon him. Bro.
For reference, 400 tons is a large cargo ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he took $1 million bribe from El Chapo.
2 blue whales. Fully grown.
Mm-hmm. 2 fully grown blue whales. Yeah,
Made
that
of
is a
cocaine.
mountain of cocaine.
A
It was
fully
a
loaded
Biden
aircraft
setup.
carrier.
It was just a Biden setup, guys. It couldn't be because you don't actually give a fuck, could it?
Yeah. Like,
This whole
since when
drug
does America
thing.
not like drugs? Like, seriously, like your entire
Indeed.
1980s fucking Republicans were fueled by a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Tell me again, though, that this is
Iran
about
Contra
drugs.
scandal?
Tell me again
Oh,
that this
God.
is about stopping, these deadly, addictive substances from flowing freely in the United States. Just let this guy go free. 400 million tons. Or 400 million tons. 400 million. My brain, dude.
How much
oh
of
my
that
God.
was used by members of Congress?
Because I told myself, don't
Just
say the
Nancy
wrong
Pelosi.
thing, and then I said the wrong thing. I hate when I do that. 400 tons of cocaine, for fuck's sake. Sorry. Alrighty. So I had the Didn't Fall For It Again awards, and yeah, that's about... We're gonna end this segment then here with this. Whoops. Let me turn... how do
What's
I
up,
turn
Mr.
this up?
Hyde?
How would I turn this up? What the heck's going... What? Why can't I turn this up? Like, the YouTube... Is YouTube fucked? Why is the UI so screwed?
No, just reload it again. It does
There
that
it is.
sometimes.
That was...
Yeah.
No, that was weird. And I still can't see the volume. What the heck? There we go.
There you go,
Whoa,
the
that was strange. Okay, now
Yeah,
it is.
it does that.
Don't
Yeah. Does it really? Gee, I love YouTube Shorts. I just uploaded one right before we started.
Don't you feel silly? Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel a little ashamed?
Well,
Not really, because we win This Is Bollocks.
no, I mean, I don't feel silly or stupid
I know, but
or
I'm just
ashamed.
answering him quite literally.
But I think a lot of people need to be asked these questions. I think a couple people need to answer this question at this point. I think some people have made themselves look extremely silly and extremely stupid, and they should be ashamed. Analog Mind for 5 says, notes that Trump has failed to take control of the DOJ, that them purposely sabotaging indictment. I'll be DMing you the relevant clips of the situation regarding the
The one, yeah, the fact that in New York is quite strange.
Okay. Show to control the DOJ. Yeah, sure. Thank you, man. So, well, I guess this is what we're going to switch into. But, which is,
oh, God.
I call this segment Fraud and Fallout, because there's been, obviously the fraud stuff it's been a week, or thereabouts, maybe about a week and a half, since the massive fraud by largely Somalis involving daycare schemes in Minnesota has been uncovered. Of course, we talked about it already last week, which is that it's not just daycares. It's also a large amount of healthcare. And in the interceding week, it's just been basically every single day. There's been more of this. But Tim Walz, as a result, is dropping out of the governor race, and Amy Klobuchar considers stepping in. But I think she doesn't want it either. Also, she's similarly unelectable and terrible. So
Yes.
I'm not really sure what's better.
Never stopped him before.
True.
Good point.
Walsh's decision not to seek a historic third term upends the race and shocked the Minnesota political world. Did it really shock anybody?
Yeah.
How was he supposed to run after this?
Tim Walz basically stepped into the role that Biden left by becoming a demented fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
Which is to be a human gaff machine.
It was astonishing that they really did bring him out like exactly, well, who's going to replace our gaff machine once Biden's
Mr.
gone?
Magoo.
Right. We need a new Mr. Magoo, and that's who Walz has been. Now, he's been crashing out over this as well. But importantly,
Defending the
he's...
people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity. Oh, get fucked.
That's all you
Seriously?
have done, Tim.
That's your entire political career, you fucking asshole.
All you have done, that's all, is defend the criminals who prey on the people of Minnesota's generosity. Just reword your sentence a little bit. It's, I mean, he did say it just out of order. More or less. So, but again, importantly, he is not stepping down. He's just not running again. Because I've seen people misreporting it as he's stepping down. Did Amy Klobuchar let Derek Chauvin off the book? Did he? I don't think she did. Okay, so here's his crash out. It's not AI, though. I've seen it from many sources. Losing his mind. He's having a little bit of a melty. Let's enjoy.
Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you.
I think we've just illustrated over the course of 2 hours that we don't agree with everything Donald Trump does. So, okay.
It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better. And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability?
No, you. That's literally his argument.
You're both shit, but
you are both shit. But Trump at least has some redeeming qualities. You have none.
Tim, you know, 30 Rock's over. You can stop LARPing as Liz Lemon's dad.
He does look like Liz Lemon's dad. I think they're from Minnesota.
Yes.
For what he did, because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making this. Their idea.
From the majority of these, the majority of these politicians are actors who were bought and paid for.
Well, yeah, he's terrible at it.
AOC is just the most evident, literal one where they were like, she was just literally an actress they paid to say shit.
Yeah, and I mean the whole thing there is too that it's just absurd. You're not fighting, you're not running again, which means you're giving up. You're just refusing to vacate the seat quite yet, which he may end up going back on. This is such a disaster. I don't know. I kind of thought the Venezuela thing would replace this, but when I was just looking at my Twitter feed for the last couple of days, I've continued to see reporting on all of the fraud schemes. And I think that's partially because it maybe got out of control because they propped up that young guy, what's his name, who exposed the Minnesota fraud. Made him, put him all over the news and everything for it. And so the immediate reaction to that was that you had a ton of people wanting to copycat it. They wanted to be, rocketed into social media stardom. Nothing against the kid himself. But of course everyone decided, well, this seems easy. I'll just go out and do this stuff and post a video and get 1 billion views. So maybe that's why it's been difficult to shut that stuff up, because people immediately wanted to investigate more. I don't know, but it is of course ongoing. And then the next day after that, after the little, announcing he wasn't going to run again, having a little crash out, this picture surfaced. Here he is awarding Ayan Abukar the Outstanding Refugee Award. In 2023, Abukar was indicted for fraud. You can't make this shit up. Nick Shirley, thank you. His name was escaping me. You can't make it up. It's just so perfect.
Fucking hell.
I saw this interesting bit. This is from Ben Johnson, excuse me. So, this will never happen. This will never happen. But allegedly, Ilhan Omar could be denaturalized. Don't get your hopes up.
Oh yeah, she could. She could also be fired out of a cannon into the sun.
True. You can just do things. Yes. You could.
You're not allowed to touch the big magic button that makes all the problems go away.
Yeah.
You could theoretically launch Ilhan Omar out of a large enough cannon. I think you'd have to surround her with something so it could make it into the sun. But yeah.
Petrol.
That seems like a waste.
Nothing's too good for our friends.
Considering denaturalization action against some of these major criminals. Can you explain that? I mean, I think that would really stick. A lot of people would say, wow, the Trump administration is really serious if they start denaturalizing people in this country.
Yeah, under U.S. law, if you procure citizenship or a visa, a green card,
on fraudulent grounds, that is basis for denaturalization or removal of that
Oh
visa
my
or
god,
green card. So of
her
course,
voice, like drink water woman, like my god.
But why are we listening to her? She's assistant DHS secretary. She has no power. She's some millennial with a
name badge,
difficult to listen to voice. But she says, sure, yeah. Again, theoretically, you could,
if this was the case, you know how many people would get deported?
But it's as likely
like,
as shooting
literally
out of a cannon into the sun.
Thousands.
Huh?
If this was true, then thousands of people would get their citizenship revoked.
Well, yeah, indeed. But it's not happening, is it?
Yeah,
so
that's complete
again,
bollocks.
Don't get your hopes up about it. More has come out also about the Feed Our Future scam, which what that was they said they were feeding, underprivileged kids. So some of the ringleaders, Amy Brock and Salim Saeed, ran a $250 million scam stealing from taxpayers money meant for feeding kids, and all the while kids didn't get fed. So there's been hearings about this that have been going on over the last week. Let's watch the clip on it. See how interested we are. I watched most of this one earlier.
Mr. Hudson, who is Salim Saeed and Amy Bach?
I recognize those names as defendants in the Feeding Our Future trial.
They ran Feeding Our Future, is that right?
That's correct.
And they've been indicted?
That's correct.
They've been convicted?
By the way, what's her name from Wicked is in the front row. She's been very annoying in these hearings.
That's correct.
And they're in jail waiting sentences, is that right?
As I understand it.
Okay, I want to go back, because earlier with Mr. Gill, you said that they overlooked the fraud. I think it's worse than that. I think they helped it along. I'm going to go to this meeting that took place, or actually I want to go to March 30th, 2021. Is it true back in March of 2021, the Minnesota Department of Education suspended payments to Feeding Our Future program? Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
And then a month later, they resumed payments.
Again, just to reiterate, they were forced to stop. And then their payments were stopped. They couldn't steal anymore. They knew these people were engaging in fraud. And then they turned the spigot off for a week, and then just turned it right back on.
That's correct.
What caused them to change their mind?
In my opinion, what caused them to change their mind was pushback from their constituency within the Somali community, who accused the state agencies of being racist.
But what caused them to
the reality is they were getting kickbacks. But they encourage the Somalis, obviously, to go out. They get their little thought leaders go out there, rile them up, say, go cry about racisms, and then they just turn the spigot back on.
Place. Was it whistleblowers coming forward? Was it like this something's not right here? What happened?
Apologize for the misunderstanding. The reason they stopped the funds in the first place is because they had credible allegations that there was fraud taking place.
From whistleblowers and others.
Correct.
And just they're doing their job looking, this doesn't make sense. We got all these programs, no one's getting fed, and yet money's going out the door.
I mean, see the way the system works, right? They got found out for fraud. And up until maybe any of the year but 2025, although I do think there's some attempt to not talk about this with the Venezuela stuff over completely eclipsing it, as it eclipsed the thing in the UK with the Egyptian refugee, well, not refugee, excuse me, the Egyptian now citizen, I suppose, that we didn't talk about last week because it got we didn't have time, and then we probably won't have time this week, in which case I'll forget about that by next. But it's an interesting sort of series of events, right? And you can see how easy it would be to orchestrate it. Again, you just are stealing money from the government. You're, of course, enriching yourself as someone in political power. And these, immigrants make bank off of it as well. So everybody, it's a win-win for all those involved. Then you have, if you get found out, go send your fucking activist class, go out there to complain and cry about it and cry racisms. And then you get your money back. No problems.
Or like crazy. So they suspended it. And then they started it back up, right? Was there any threat of a lawsuit from the Somali community and folks affiliated with Feeding Our Future?
Mr. Jordan, there was more than a threat. They actually did.
They did? And what was the alleged claim in that lawsuit?
That they were victims of racial discrimination.
Oh, they played the race card, huh? All this fraud going on, money going out, and they played the race card. Now, it was when I talked about not just overlooking it, there was a meeting that took place between the Attorney General and affiliates of Feeding Our Future. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what happened at that meeting? Do we know?
Yeah, we do, because we have it on tape. There was an audio recording made at that meeting that was
introduced. It's just so transparent.
In the Feeding Our Future trial.
Quite literally, they've got tapes of it and everything. So freaking transparent. I mean, I also find all the Maduro stuff transparent. Just like, I guess at some point, we're moving on to a different cycle.
And it was later revealed through work from Center of the American Experiment, the full recording. And my observations of what took place in that meeting was that Attorney General Keith Ellison was focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was keeping these folks in business. There were no questions that he asked of these folks about how the kids are doing, the operation, how they're getting fed, who's being helped. Instead, the focus was entirely on ensuring that the money continues to flow. And I'll add that he went so far as to say that he was going to fight these people in reference to the state agencies. The state agencies are his client.
Yeah.
Again, this is not about the daycares. This is from 2023. This was a feeding children scam.
You said money's going to flow. Did money flow to Mr. Ellison's campaign a couple weeks later from some of the folks who were in that meeting?
Sure did.
How much? Do we know how much that was?
I mean, it's so laid out.
So it wasn't just overlooking the fraud. They were actively trying to make sure this program continued, and then they benefited from that politically with contribution to their campaign, all in this same year, all in 2021, when this was all coming to a head. Is that accurate?
That is my understanding.
And this fraud is much bigger than this, because as I look, it's like 6 different federal agencies. Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, Small Business Association, Housing, Urban Development, Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture, in this program and a bunch of others. They were shaking down the entire federal government, it looked like. 6 different federal agencies. I think you pointed out, over the last 15 years?
That's correct.
And not only are the Democrat administration overlooking it, they're helping it along. They're assisting it. They're going after whistleblowers, as your colleague pointed out. And they're benefiting from all this politically with contribution to their campaign. Not to mention the voting issue that you referenced earlier.
Yeah, and what a great segue, because we're going to go to that next. Thank you, Jim. The Printmaster for €5 says, I cannot respect the hustle when it's on such a dumb level and people in control just being obviously corrupt. Not even a big scheme, just corruption. Yeah, I know. I can't respect the hustle either, because it's low IQ fraudsters. I mean, the people in charge of them are slightly higher IQ, but they're still absolutely terrible at covering their tracks. Because why should they? Why would they ever do that? They'd never expect that they would ever get caught, because they have a whole apparatus built around them that protects them. So it's not just the... did he talk about the election fraud there, or was that the other thing? I do have the election fraud next, though, because this has also been revealed now that everybody's got their magnifying glasses out. Tim Walz won by 192,408 votes. Minnesota reported 189,475 duplicate voter registration applications. Now, it's not enough to flip it just from those numbers. However, it's really damn close. These are just pictures of that. Now there's, of course, his entire election is being called under scrutiny, because the fraud apparently is so endemic. There's also voter ID fraud, of course, in Minnesota. And it's not just Minnesota as well. States with no effective voter ID requirement average nearly 8 times more welfare benefits to illegal immigrants compared to states requiring voter ID verification. It's difficult to come to any other conclusion other than that, yeah, they are importing and paying illegals for votes. They're also just paying illegals in general for all kinds of things. But all of that is to secure votes and to secure client class.
I'm under the impression that is why people don't go after this, because if it is part of the election system, then it is technically going after political opposition.
Yeah.
From a purely sort of fair play perspective.
Well, if they're all doing it, right?
Yes.
But of course they all benefit. So,
yeah,
except the only, who doesn't benefit, of course, is the American people. But the political class benefits.
Well, the political
unilaterally.
class doesn't give a flying fuck about the people.
Of course not. Let's see. Oh, the UN, Somalia's UN ambassador himself was involved in this childcare scheme.
God, they really all do look exactly the same, don't they?
Light bulb. Every single one. I can confirm public speculation, this is Jim Jordan, that Ambassador Abukar Dahir Osman permanent representative of Somalia to the UN and president of the Security Council, is in fact associated with Progressive Healthcare Services, a home healthcare agency in Cincinnati. HHS has previously taken action against Progressive in response to a conviction for Medicaid fraud. Even the ambassador to the UN from Somalia was in on this childcare fraud. Or that, in that case, it's healthcare one.
Insane.
Oh, sorry, this should have been before, because this relates to the voting stuff. Here is the listed location of the auditing firm that performed the audits for both the Minnesota and Ohio elections on the NGOs we have linked to potential fraud. Oh, this wasn't voting. No, this is just the financial audits, excuse me. So here's the ones who audit the taxes for all of these different organizations that commit fraud. It's Jubba Value Center, Travel and Computer Services. They were the ones doing the auditing of these businesses. It's all so tiresome. Oh, here's just a clip here. Which one was this about?
My God,
Oh, yeah.
It's like a fucking Matt Gates went like full looks maxing.
It is. So the way that
Is that a
Tim
real
Walz
person?
rung in the new year, yeah, the way he rung in the new, he's on Fox. They all look kind of plastic. Was that, well, specifically in this case, it's that you're going to have 20 weeks of paid leave per year. This is his great gift to the people of Minnesota. 20 weeks of paid leave, which is quite a lot.
That's a lot.
And
yeah.
it happened in the midst of all these scandals coming out, and people immediately went, well, that's an extremely easily exploitable and abusable system.
Already, whistleblowers in state government are saying that people are planning to scam it. Under the new law, almost every resident is eligible to take up to 20 weeks of paid leave a year to take care of family or for medical reasons, with taxpayers footing the bill and paying
$1,400 a week, up to. A week. Essentially then, that's like what, like $24,000 a year? Just free money.
Yep.
That you just get by not working. Why would you not just take this? Just say you're on leave and get $25,000 from the government? What?
paying out a percentage of a person's salary up to $1,420 a week. The program is projected to cost between $1 and $1.5 billion a year, but Republican lawmakers say that could go up dramatically thanks to how vaguely the law is written, making
Is it close to 30K
ripe for
before
fraud.
taxes? Yeah, I'm sure it is.
One thing that people don't know, you can designate one person annually as the person you care for. So I can designate my uncle living in Florida, go on vacation, and it's up to your employer to investigate whether you're really caring for that person or not. Like, that's just, there's no guardrails. It's going to be ridden with fraud. Just
And if your employer is one of these fraud companies, you don't even have to do any of that. It's just more free money.
like we see in our other systems. The honor system is not the best way to distribute all this money.
Despite,
because again, that then means your employer would have to care or know about it.
This is insane.
I mean, yeah, it's just essentially, yeah, closer to
Scam,
30,000
come
a
on.
year. Yeah, closer to 30,000 just free dollars a year. But it's not free, of course. It comes from Minnesota taxpayers who actually do pay their taxes. Just say, yeah, you're caring for your own children. That's what these people were doing at their quote-unquote daycares. I mean, they were just staying at home and doing it. They were just caring for their own children and then registering as a daycare. Many, many cases of that. The Printmaster for 5 years says the MENAPT statistic from Denmark should become a bigger meme. No matter the calls for skilled labor, some people just cost more than they bring. Yeah, they do. Somalis, wherever they immigrate around the world, always cost more than they bring. There's a question about that, though, that I will get to later. People often bring up, well, one of the very successful immigrant demographics are Indians. But there was also a scandal that broke in the last week that involves the fact that thousands and thousands and thousands of degrees from India are fake. I mean, I could have told you that, but it's been confirmed. So all of these skilled Indians that are being hired don't have degrees. And are lying on their resumes. So they're not And then they get involved in these same kind of nepotistic, it's not nepotistic, what's the right word? They get involved into these close-knit little communities. They all help each other out. You get one at any position in HR, they hire all of their Indian relatives and friends. And then it becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. So yeah, Indians do better than other immigrant groups because they're more integrated into more scams, is what it is. 75%, speaking of, Somalis are on welfare.
Open for 4 years under Joe Biden. They were trying to rush as many future Democrat voters into America as possible. And with this particular community, the Somali community, it appears over 75%, Maria, of the Somali population in America is on full...
That's not in Minnesota. That's all over the states. 75%.
Full welfare benefits. You know, the argument to letting people into the United States has always been, we need workers, we need workers.
We got it. Now, this is not serious, says the Minnesota Attorney General, Keith Ellison. This isn't serious. Nothing to see here, folks.
Not that fraud is not a problem. Of course it is a problem. And of course we have to prosecute it. And of course we have been prosecuting it. But
have you done enough, General, to do so? I mean, one of the claims is that there has been hundreds of millions of dollars, but now there are some estimates that there could be $9 billion or more. And Noam is just
19, I think it is.
Suggesting they took hundreds of people off the street who were involved in fraud. Are you confident your office has done enough?
Of course we've done enough, and we're doing more every single day.
We've already done enough.
This is a political matter. This is not a serious thing. And I tell you,
not a serious thing. It's just politics. I think it's 19 billion. This was January 7th. I most recent figures I heard on that was 19, but let's say it's 9. Hello. 19 billion. It's not a serious thing. Good God. Yeah, for most people, that is a pretty serious thing. Speaking of Keith Ellison.
Far from over, but sources are telling Fox again this morning that now that Governor Tim Walz says he's not going to run for re-election, the feds are also shifting their focus to the state's Attorney General, Keith Ellison. Why? Because a newly obtained clip by Fox that we just got yesterday, that was from 2021, has Ellison meeting in this recording with a group of people who were asking for his help. The problem is those people, you guys, were then just days later arrested for one of the biggest fraud scandals in the state. Watch.
The only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena, putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
That's right.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back, and you don't have to worry about who's behind you.
So now officials are saying, why was Ellison meeting with this group in the first place? They were asking him to help them get more federal funding.
In exchange for votes. Yeah, that's right. Just straight up. You have to support us. That means money. If you want our vote.
Offering votes and campaign donations for support. So the audio clip's part of an ongoing investigation into the widespread fraud across the state. Ellison's office sharing an op-ed that he wrote in the local paper. He said, in part, I took a meeting in good faith with people I didn't know, and some turned out to have done bad things. I did nothing for them.
Whoops. I took a meeting in good faith with people. Okay, sure.
And took nothing from them. But documents obtained by...
You seemed on board, man. That's right.
By the Center for the American Experiment say some of those non-convicted Somali fraudsters that he met with donated money to Ellison's campaign after that meeting. It's money, though, he did later give back once this group was indicted, according...
Oh. Well, he gave the money back once he got caught. So that means he's trustworthy, right? The fuck? You serious? How?
To report. So there's just so many levels of this fraud that's been going on for years, according to officials. Fox obtained that full, nearly 1 hour-long clip of the meeting with the lawyer of Amy Bach. For people wondering who that is there on your screen, she's the Minnesota woman who was one of many convicted last year in that $250 million Feeding Our Future scam. That's how this all started with Bach. She's behind bars, though, but her legal team tells me, where's the accountability for the governor and the attorney general?
Yeah, we got it. I don't know if there'll be any accountability. But of course, it's not, as I mentioned earlier in that other bit, it wasn't just Minnesota, it was also Ohio that had that one, the Jubar Center, Lubar Center, Jubba Center, something like that. There's also, of course, rampant fraud that's being reported on out of California. That one's far less surprising than Minnesota, but yeah.
I will say that, here in California, we have fraud probably that's like anything that we have in any other state in the country or at the federal level. When you look, for example, at the unemployment insurance fraud that occurred during COVID, where we
Ardent Party for 2 says, of all the letters for blacks to miss in a sign.
had $32
True.
billion worth of it that just was squandered. In fact, worse than squandered. It went to criminals who used it for further criminal activity. And then we just had this state audit that came out and said that not only is that kind of fraud continuing in California, but the number of agencies that are considered high risk, meaning they have a serious risk of waste, fraud, abuse, or mismanagement, is now 8 agencies encompassing things like determination for Medi-Cal eligibility, for SNAP benefits, and a lot more. So I think fraud is a problem that exists in many...
Again, specifically this is about all these other programs, SNAP, Medi-Cal, what's EDD stand for? All these other programs and 8 different government agencies involved in massive fraud in California for people who are living on welfare, almost assuredly.
Different parts of the country.
Many of them. And many of them not. Everyone, I think, gets that Medi-Cal stuff. Huge. And again, the way that works, too, is that, in terms of the medical aspect of it, well, why is your insurance so expensive? Why is medical care so expensive? These people are actually charging the state. The state's paying their premiums, means you're paying it. And when you massively just scam the system, everyone ends up taking out of regular people's pockets, all the way down the line. It's incentivized to have these kind of things so that you can defraud them. Many of these welfare systems that the Democrats, are always in favor of, end up lining Democrats' pockets and securing them votes. Quite literally paying people, being paid with voting influence, and being paid directly in services and just outright money. Because you're defrauding people. And it's endemic. It's everywhere.
It happens. It's absolutely unacceptable, and we need to do everything we can to fight it.
Yeah, we have seen fraud in both parties. So Governor Newsom's office put out a statement addressing what you're talking about. This is what they put out on X. The state auditor's high-risk list does not cite billions in current losses. It's a report to flag programs for added oversight before potential fraud occurs. So what's your reaction to what they're saying there?
Yeah, so this report, the auditor does it every year, and it's actually at the highest number it's been for a long time now. 8 different agencies are identified as high risk. I believe it was 4 agencies when Governor Newsom took office. And, importantly, to make that list, not only does there have to be a serious risk of waste, fraud, abuse, or mismanagement, but also the agency has failed to take corrective steps. And so...
yeah, I caught his both siding there also. So both sides are defrauding. By the way, yeah, they are. But the Democrats are far, far more advanced. The Republicans have a different type of fraud scheme they operate under.
This designation does not sort of come easily. And on top of all of that, we have the $32 billion in unemployment insurance fraud. We have 1/3 of California community college applications were found to be fake. There was a state audit that I actually requested when I was in the legislature.
I wonder what that even means, because I've heard reporting on that before, is that the college applications are fake. Is it probably just to secure, like, oh, look, people are applying to go to college so that the colleges can receive money? I'm guessing. Colleges, we had so many applicants, we need more funding. And they're community colleges, so they're funded by the state. Yeah.
On homelessness spending, where the auditor found that $24 billion was...
Yeah, keep the doors open, even though they're not real applications from real applicants. But that way you can say, look, yeah, we need more funding.
And the state didn't really even keep track of where the money went or have any metrics to evaluate its effectiveness, and homelessness increased during that time period. So I was glad to see, I think your next guest is Ro Khanna, that he made a statement earlier saying he thinks there should be an audit of the full budget in California. That's something I would absolutely support. So feel free to pass that on when you talk to him, but I'd love to work with him on that.
Yeah, shit-eating grin on this guy's face. I don't think he was very comfortable with that. Sitting there on CNN having to hear that guy just be like, yeah, It's just massive waste and fraud, and it's so clear and obvious how it works, and that it's tit for tat. So this is in Michigan. Where was this? I had it written on my list here on my thingy. Massachusetts. Yeah. Snap fraud scheme in Boston.
Charges against two. We are now.
Dude, it's so many videos because there's been so much the last couple weeks with this. So much of this is either resurfacing or coming to light for the first time, and a lot of it's coming to light for the first time because there's all this obviously intense new interest in this subject matter.
Federal charges against two men, Antonio Bonner and Saul Elisme, for large-scale SNAP benefit trafficking, a scheme that turned a program designed to feed families into a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise.
Whoa, she's hard to listen to. You get the idea. They were getting $540,000 a month in EBT. 2 Haitians. This is just one case.
As of like an hour ago, Tim Walz is threatening to mobilize the Minnesota National Guard to prevent the federal government from auditing Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. This is Massachusetts, this one.
I'm just bringing it up because it was...
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Attention was drawn to it.
True. It's just the same case. Just defrauding welfare. SNAP benefits. In that case. Another Georgia Democrat busted. Former lawmaker charged with COVID unemployment fraud. There's been 2 of them now. Georgia Rep. Karen Bennett indicted for allegedly fraudulently obtaining COVID unemployment benefits. And Sharon Henderson has been indicted on unemployment fraud after allegedly illegally collecting over $17,000 in benefits during the COVID pandemic. These are the politicians themselves engaging in these scams. Taking unemployment money offered under COVID and just lining their own pockets. Why not? Extra 17 grand. Why would you pass it up? And again, these are what the politicians are doing. You've got tons of people doing this kind of shit all the fucking time. And I do want to point out, too, is that there's a lot of women behind this shit, too. It's consistently been women. And a lot of white women as well, as this one. This one is the founder of infamous Minnesota-based nonprofit, $250 million welfare fraud, was ordered by a judge just last week to forfeit her Porsche designer handbags and millions of dollars in ill-gotten gains. This is Amy Bach, who was mentioned earlier, 44-year-old mastermind behind Feeding Our Future scandal, was found guilty in March on federal charges of wire fraud, bribery, conspiracy, and connection to the nation's largest COVID-19 fraud scam. That other scam that I just mentioned was unrelated. That was the unemployment COVID fraud. The Feeding Our Future, we got to feed all the kids thing. That was the COVID fraud. And it keeps being white women. I pointed that out last week, too, where there was the daycare people were giving a statement to the press, and there was a white woman behind them just sitting there crying, standing there crying, or on the verge of tears. White women's tears, man. Even I'll say it. Meanwhile, don't forget India. Don't let the Indians forget either, okay? Just because right now a lot of people are looking at the Somali community, the brilliant, average 67 IQ Somali community, doesn't mean we've forgotten about you, India. And that's because also recently it's been uncovered that it was 100,000 forged certificates from 22 universities, with 1 million plus likely used to secure jobs abroad. This was in India. At least 100,000, millions perhaps, of jobs secured using totally fraudulent documents.
My question is to Minister Watt, representing the Minister for Immigration. In July, the Australian Skills...
They're just going to talk about, this is 10 minutes long. There's the big takeaway from it. The Indians who are doing so well because they secure those very, profitable job positions because they're so skilled, they've got these degrees in computer science or whatever it is. Fraudulent. A significant chunk of them. I mean, who's surprised? And you have to hope it's just IT, right? That kind of stuff. You have to hope it's not medicine. This is in Australia, by the way, but this is not in the US. Point being, this is almost assuredly also happened in the United States, in Canada, in the UK, and anywhere that Indians go. It's because it's the same universities giving this to people. So inevitably, that will be any place that these people go to. They've got fraudulent, faked degrees.
Or if you think regular medicine's bad, wait until you see the surgeons.
Right? Again, I hope this is stuff that isn't life or death. But who knows? Maybe some of them are practicing medicine right now. The CBC, I'm shocked too, actually reported on the Indian credential scam last year. I did see that, which came up when this was uncovered the other day, or when this came up the other day. Which is that, again, and I think, was it CBC? There were a couple of places that had reported on this beforehand, I think. It's just, what's worse is that those scammers are still setting up to do it here in Canada. And they'll get away with it, most likely. That's the fucked up part. On the subject of Indians, Vivek Ramaswamy has left the internet. At least he's left Twitter, X, aka X, and Instagram. And rather than just announce this, I don't know, on his Twitter or Instagram or something, he posted his announcement that he's leaving because he's being bullied for being Indian and racism or something. And it's very difficult. It's a trap for politicians.
To be Indian.
I know. He posted his little cry about it in the Wall Street Journal behind a paywall. He has to scam you at every fucking turn. It's his nature. However, the Hindustan Times has reported on it. Why has Vivek Ramaswamy decided to become a social media teetotaler in 2026? I deleted X and Instagram. Vivek Ramaswamy has commenced the new year by disconnecting from social media. It's because everyone's clowning on him. Republican politician and candidate for governor of Ohio. Let's see how that goes. Said he removed X and Instagram from his mobile device, contending that incessant engagement with social media skews political judgment and poses a risk of conflating online chatter with genuine public sentiment. No, we don't like you. We can't stand you, Vivek. You're a scammer. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, Ramaswamy links the decision to a discussion he had with Italian Prime Minister, whatever. Look, he's a bitch. He's a bitch made. Deleted X.
Vivek's issue is that he was under the impression that people liked him, which was not the case.
No. But also the absolute audacity of this dude to publish his announcement that everybody needs to know, which is the only reason I'm reporting on it, in the fucking... Sorry, Bill, you're cutting out. I can't hear you at all, actually.
I'll change the fucking pushed up. Basically just saying, like, here's the memorandum that everyone has to be extra professional nice to me. You have to pay to see it.
JC Denton JC Denton for 5 says, man, you guys are completely incorrect. Trump clearly needed a maid and a janitor for the White House and found the perfect pair to hire. Yeah, indeed. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, this guy, dude. Okay. This guy picked the wrong week to launch his political career. I don't know if this is serendipity. I think this guy has a 77 or 67 IQ and didn't consider that this was the really wrong week to drop this political ad. Liban Mohammed for Congress.
Utah leads the nation in charitable giving. Yet our leaders take us for granted. For far too many Utahns, the American dream is slipping.
This is not a parody, by the way. This is real.
This legit looks like a bit from the guy who did Rasta Claus.
I know, but he starts out by saying, Utah loves charity.
This looks like Flesh Simulator in blackface.
It does. He does look like Flesh Simulator in blackface.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Away. Corporations are pricing us out of our own homes.
Wow, you dropped the charity? You can't afford a home?
Raising a family is...
Oh, childcare is really expensive too.
More expensive than ever.
Wow.
And even though we spend more money on healthcare than any...
Well, healthcare is also really expensive too. What have Somalis all been caught defrauding in the past couple weeks? All those things, you know?
I was pointed out after the fact that at that press conference with the specky cunt who looks almost exactly like this guy at the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Are these the same fucking guy? Because he looks exactly like the Somali
so.
that was like whinging that they were getting like profiled or some shit.
Well,
But someone pointed out that the glasses that guy was wearing were like $4,000.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it last week, but yeah, that guy when he was
chrome hearts.
Yes, when he was denying that there was any fraud going on, he was standing there wearing they were $2,000 frames.
Yeah, like $2.5 chrome hearts,
Yeah,
like
think 2.5,
ultra
yeah.
designer.
Standing there talking about how, we're not doing any fraud and we didn't do nothing. Anyway, so what's this guy about to reveal about himself, as if you couldn't tell from his phenotype, on this ad he published on January 5th?
Nearly 300,000 Utahns are left without health coverage. But together, we can change this.
Come help me.
And that's why I'm running for Congress. We will fight for universal child care, so no parent has to choose between their child and their career.
Wow, great. Thank you, Liban.
We will build housing that's actually affordable.
Well,
and
thanks,
restrict corporations from
Liban.
taking over our neighborhoods. We will treat healthcare as a human right that it is.
Wow, what specific
at a lower
things?
cost for our families. Politicians love to say we can't afford any of this. All the while they're funding genocide and giving it.
Also, I noticed he's not like there's
Uh-huh.
specifically a thing for recycling on the side of this, and this is not sorted.
Yeah.
We already showed the world
Those
what
flights-
service and care looks like. It's time we get a government that does the same. My name is Liban Mohammed, and I'm running for Congress.
Great. Also, the porno music. Excellent choice.
The porno font.
Yeah. So, hello.
This
I'm a
really does look
Somali.
like a
I'm
flesh
running
simulator
for
bit.
government. I'm gonna fix all the things. I have a specific interest in all of these things that immigrants are defrauding, and specifically Somali immigrants, but not just them. Vote for me. This guy. What a week to post this. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. But it's not just the Democrats, of course, it is also the Republicans. Senate bill spending $5.7 billion on refugee benefits sparks anger. Funding to include labor, health, and human services appropriations bill, one of 9 annual spending measures that together must be approved to fund the federal government. Most of the $5.69 billion is available through 2028 to carry out activities authorized under federal immigration law. The provision also includes additional funding for unaccompanied children if the number referred to HHS exceeds 16,000 a month. Republican Senators Rand Paul of Kentucky and Mike Lee of Utah have voiced opposition to the refugee funding. They're like the only ones. This is a GOP-supported activity. Oh, the same week we go to, a very, very short war or whatever operation in Venezuela, and then open the border to them to seek refugee status. Open those already here to now be considered refugees. The GOP backed this with a little dissent from Rand, who always does. They're all fucking in on these fucking scams. There was also, let's see, Tammy Duckworth also dissented. But other than that, is it just these 3 ones? I think so. Which means it's going to go through. 5.7 billion for our new Venezuelan, in quotes, refugees. Because who knows? Maybe they'll just say they're from Venezuela and claim that status. All right. A little bit of UK news now. Since we skipped it largely last week. I mean, Spoon, what do you make of this headline? Spoonie there. I think Bill's gone AFK too. So
No, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, good, Bill.
That does look remarkably like someone drew Destiny extremely badly.
What do you make of this, though? Hope Not Hate anti-racism campaigner exposed as pedophile.
Again, looks like Destiny.
What is it? What's the meme? Every single time.
Every
Stein. Yes, every Stein is Singleberg Timowitz. Every single time, right?
This guy's such a mutt. He doesn't even have the ear count.
It's been so much whiplash tonight.
Okay, everything about this man is
energy.
dysgenic. He's got straight ears. Both eyes are wonky in different ways. He's got a Hebrew nose. He's got the lips are all over the fucking place as well.
Former organizer for controversial British government-funded, don't forget that part, British government-funded anti-fascist and anti-racism campaign group Hope Not Hate, who have gone around and stalked people like Morgoth. Legitimately went, skulked around, pulled out documents in the trash to try and stalk these people. These people, Hope Not Hate, are absolutely insane, for those unaware. But the organizer, a organizer for it, has admitted to child sex crimes against the 13-year-old girl. Liren Woodcock Velleman, 30, pleaded guilty in Highbury Corner Magistrates Court on Friday to one count of attempting to engage in sexual communication with a child, one count of being an offender 18 or over, attempting to cause a child aged 13 to 15 to walk or look at an image of sexual activity. Wow. These are the people who campaign to shut down anti-Semitism and hate speech. Of course he's a pedophile. Who is surprised?
And if I recall, of course, has beef with anime Twitter.
Does he?
I have seen talk that he specifically would beef with anyone who even tangentially liked anime. So it's being added to the tally of people who accuse anime viewers of being nonces whilst being an actual nonce themselves.
I mean, to be fair, okay, that's a two-way street, because I understand why people say that.
Old words from a Redo a Healer fan.
I do like Redo No Healer. Thank
Shit
you very
taste.
much. All women do. Look,
yes, because all women have shit taste.
You know about that video we watched it on the other channel. The only part or the main part of the book industry that's booming is women buying not even thinly veiled pornography. So, and the primary subject matter is rape. So, of course, I like Redo No Healer. Anyway,
shit taste.
But they're very. I have also noticed that, as many have, which is that. Yeah, there are reasons to look at someone's taste in anime, as you may be doing right now, and go, that's a little sus. But, However, it also keeps being the case that people who freak out at anyone who likes any kind of anime for any reason whatsoever and goes, well, you must be a pedophile then. They keep
boils down to, this person with
pedophiles.
the Vegeta avatar called me gay. I want them in prison for it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. One too many guys with a Vegeta avatar called him gay.
He kind of looks like a cross between Destiny and Will Stancil.
He does.
Now, here's something to be
like
careful
that.
of. Be very careful with the Angloids, because Angloid phenotype overrides Hebrew. That's what you get with people like Flesh Simulator, who is himself half Anglo, which you can tell by the hair with Flesh,
he does look
Flesh Sim.
quite Anglo, yeah.
But he has got no ear cant. That's because Angloid blood covers it up. That's why the Anglo is so kept around as their favourite Shabo.
Oh, I thought really that's why it's. I thought you were going to go in like a Anglo supremacy route with that.
Hebrews are eugenicists at heart. They are constantly looking to admixture their blood because they believe matrilineal fucking inheritance.
Fuck. This was from last week. So this went. And Steve Laws had the wrong take on I believe on the Venezuela thing, but speaking of Jewish phenotype. Pill, here you go. Here's another challenge for you.
So much of a challenge, is it?
This was just insane, this interaction. So Steve Laws, internet racist.
What's your position?
Versus, what's this guy's name again? And Gold.
Jewish man in England. What would you like England to look like? If you had power tomorrow to make what you wished happen, how would you see it?
Do you know the Michaela School, Catherine Birbal Singh? She runs.
This interaction is insane. It's so bizarre, but very telling. Andrew Gold, I think his name is.
It's a school in Wembley. They've got, I think she says like 90% Muslims there. It's something mad.
Is that the one with the big frizzy hair?
Yes, that's right. She is very...
The question he was asked is like, what do you want England to look like? He immediately starts talking about a school that's 50% Muslim and 90% non-white. That's his reaction to, and this guy, he's supposed to be a conservative as well. Gold is supposed to be. What do you want England to look like? 90% 90% non-English. What? I mean, that's the only way you can. Sorry, that's the implication. And then he's more clear about it.
Very, very nationalist for this country. She's not even from here. but she loves the country. She loves its history. She teaches it in a way where people can be proud of what they've assimilated into. And I think that's kind of a microcosm of what I want to see.
They love their idea of what the history is.
Of
where
course.
it can aggrandize their own people who've done nothing and achieved nothing.
Yeah. JC Denton says, read Maduro, I've had admirals tell me about a countdown clock for 2027 because it was the timeline for China to be prepared for an invasion on Taiwan. I wonder if the current events are tied to that. That might, I mean, if that's true, that would make sense.
Knock off the financial people like propping up the like the Chinese currencies.
Yes. Or, you know.
Like China's been hanging by a thread for years now.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense, maybe. If the U.S. is going to proxy war with China, is to knock out, get more countries on the petrodollar and off the yuan.
Just control their access to petrol.
Yeah,
diesel.
that too. Yeah, that too. Somebody get back here a minute.
Yeah. She is very, very nationalist for this country. She's not even from here.
Oh, you know what might factor into it as well?
What?
How much Biden depleted the National Technical Reserve.
Oh, true,
oil.
true. Yeah, true.
Replenish all the stocks that Biden ran to the ground, and in the process, deny China assets.
Yeah, that may have something to do with it. I would not have considered that, but perhaps.
Loves the country, she loves its history. She teaches it in a way where people can be proud of what they've assimilated into. And I think that's
not how it
that's kind of a
ever
microcosm
works.
of what I want to see.
No, of course it's not.
And also, can you take a
They took an oath. Oh, don't worry. His name's Gold. They started out saying he's Jewish. He is. He's not trying to hide it. Steve Laws knew that going into it, but yes.
See in Britain doesn't mean I don't worry. A lot of us do worry the same way you do about, gosh, all these different ethnicities who are going to have different ties to different tribes.
You openly fucking said you don't care at all.
The Jews are so unoriginal that they had to like breed their own Josh firm.
Our Josh is better. Significantly.
In different countries and things like that. But I think before even thinking
remarkable resemblance
we've
there.
got to look at ourselves
He does look a bit like Josh, yeah.
and go, why that?
See what I mean with he does have the ear can, but it's slight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's almost in line with the eye to ear. You gotta be fucking careful with Anglo admixture because it covers up a bunch of other fucking diseases of the genetics.
Creating our own culture, our own history, only talking about, for example, on the BBC, extolling the bad parts of empire, for example, and not what empire brought to the world and brought to people and the good that we've done in this country. And telling people when they get here that we celebrate their culture more than our own. That is suicidal as a country. And I think that's what's led to the issues, and it's led to the concerns you have. And
so if you was in power, you would just change the culture?
I would incentivize British people, whatever that exactly means. We'd have to nail that down. But
we have to nail that down. What does it even mean? Again, this guy's supposed to be a conservative. What does it even mean? What does British people even mean? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out later. We need to import them first. We can figure that kind of stuff out later.
People from here who love this country to have more children, so that there isn't this constant stress on the economy whereby people think, I think wrongly, we have to bring in immigrants from other countries to support it. I would...
Again, reminder, he is a conservative. He had to get one conservative thing in there.
Try and make it more acceptable for Christianity to thrive in this country as well. Deport illegal immigrants. Stop the boats, obviously. Stop putting people in...
Not legal immigrants, though. Just the illegals.
These kinds of hotels. Take away the ECHR as well, so that we can actually have the power to do some of these things. Loads of quite drastic measures that I think would rapidly change what's going on. But
what you've just presented there would not reverse the demographic decline. Would still become a minority.
Exactly.
At some point, unfortunately, white people, and I count myself among them.
Hello, fellow whites.
No, you don't.
I can't believe he said this. Let me continue though, because it's unbelievable he said this shit. Unfortunately, white people, hello fellow whites,
will become a minority and will probably go extinct.
We are a worldwide minority already.
I can't believe he said
realize if you say that out loud, everyone is going to say, you are not white, because no one would champion this and think, oh, this is just something that will happen and we should do nothing about it. That's fucking insane.
Oh, it's just inevitable. There's nothing that can be done about it whatsoever. Because whites are a global minority, vastly so.
Yeah. How do you do?
And we
whites?
will go extinct if you continue. Every white country on earth continues these policies of mass migration. At some point, yeah, you can undo it, accepting that, well, it's already happened. So, oh well. Interesting point there. Just give up.
Go extinct. You're
Yeah,
actively saying,
just
oh look, your race
lay
is
down.
going to die and you should do nothing about it.
There's
What
nothing
species
you can
does this?
do. Learned helplessness. I mean, it's insane. Imagine saying that to any other demographic of people.
You wouldn't
Just
should be
accept-
murdered.
Yeah, you would. And it should be treated all as equal in that sense. Saying your people will go extinct, there's nothing that can be done about it. And not then expecting people to be violent in reaction. You're literally fighting for your genes to be propagated. It's the
You're fighting for
only
your
thing from a
survival.
biological perspective, the only reason humans exist is to propagate their genes. Like any other living creature. And you're saying, not yours. That is life and death then at that point, inherently. It's the purpose of biological life.
Which is why I take the radical stance that the English have the right to exist. We have the right to our own homelands.
Radical stance.
Everyone agrees
I mean, I know Steve's being tongue-in-cheek, but maybe apparently that is a radical stance to Andrew Gold.
on that, right?
Yeah.
That's the basis
I think
line.
so. I think so.
I think that's the baseline.
It depends
Even-
what you mean by English. That's the issue. No one can-
Oh, I agree completely,
fuck
but it
off.
depends what you mean by
Oh,
English.
it depends. It depends. There's always a bunch of caveats when it's the survival of some other people's people, but when it's the Jews, it's absolute.
Right, oh, shoot,
Never again.
Hang on, yeah, right, indeed. Rat Chasington for 2 says, "I'm so angry, I'm just numb at this point." I know, man. It's all
Yeah, it's
so
all boils
tiresome.
down to is why I hate this fucking like preaching to the choir shit. Well, no
Yeah.
shit, these people are evil. Look at them.
Yeah.
You have
Looney Le-
eyeballs. You have ears.
True. Looney Lenny for 10 says, "If my people disappear, the world will lose 10,000 years of evolution and progress." Indeed, that's also true. There are a whole hell of a lot of reasons that you don't want your people to die out. And it's only considered a problem when white people feel that way, which is absurd.
Because they're the only ones to do anything.
Well, yeah. That would not be a controversial statement. That would not be considered a racial even statement, I think, or any other group to make it say, I don't want my people to die out. Not only
But now we got to go because some asshole like
will
I
they,
fucking
but deal with
2,000 years ago said we had to go before the end of the world can happen. Because these retards can only get into heaven if the literal world is destroyed. Maybe you're the problem at that point.
Indeed.
So there's that. Okay, but ultimately, with the direction that the country's going, the future of our people is at stake. The most radical stance that we have to take to fix this is okay with me. I don't care what we have to do. I don't care who gets caught in the crossfires. I don't care how much damage gets done along the way, as long as the future of my people is secured. That's my line. And that's the hill I'm dying on. You may disagree with the approach.
Quite literally. It has to be.
That's fairly normal, actually.
It is. Again, it would be normal to say this about any other group that you were a part of.
You literally
I
just said my
disdain this
race
idea
is
that he has
going
to
to
fucking-
die out. Why do
Yeah.
you not think he would like openly massacre everyone else around him? That's normal.
I disdain that he is acting like this is something that should be controversial for him, and that he seems apologetic about even bringing it up.
Yeah,
I'd say
Steve
it's
was very
fucking
polite about all this. I couldn't. I mean, he's shaking. I think because he's nervous, probably. 'Cause he's in this big studio set or something. I would be really nervous, and I also don't know if I could have kept my cool. Had somebody said that to me in person, to my face. Just at some point, you're just gonna have to accept it. That you and your extended family will all be dead. And because that is what you're
So let me
saying.
illustrate, like my ancestors that have been here for literally centuries are just gonna die out because whoops.
Who
get
only
fucked.
exists
Oh well, things change. You would never say that to anyone of any other.
Well,
racial or
why would you expect someone to care about where, like, oh, my people are dying out here? It's like, oh, that doesn't matter to us. We're Jewish. We are rootless savages.
Indeed, yeah.
We literally have no ties to the earth. We will continue to wander it until such a time that something's convenient for us.
Yep. Yeah, and he originally posted this too. He was quite proud of this interview, and then of course he got piled on because this is insane.
I think we need to have an actual like analysis of the difference between like Jewish and like other like white adjacent races like viewpoint, because they just seem to have a complete aberrant worldview. Like, based purely upon the fact that they have no proper homeland.
Yeah. I mean, they do, though. Well, proper. Depends on your definition. But,
depends which tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean that horribly. I mean, you've been polite enough to me since I've come on and so forth, but I just generally don't care. England belongs to the English. I want my country back, and I will die on that hill fighting for it.
Yeah. Look, I've got...
He's uninterested, even. Yeah, whatever. He doesn't even care.
He's heard this all before. He's heard this spiel 100 times before because he lapses as a conservative.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
He's just tired of hearing about it at this point.
Sure thing.
Someone who cares this little about
serious.
you is not your friend or your ally.
Steve's dead serious. That is worth fighting and dying for. You would consider it worth fighting and dying for Israel, would you not?
As long as it's
for the
someone else
Jewish
doing
people.
the fighting, yeah.
Well, yeah, preferably not him himself, I'm sure.
Sympathy for that, but as I said, without wanting to sound repetitive,
You'd certainly want to send someone like Steve Laws to go fight and die for Israel, though. That's for sure.
I don't think you can define English easily enough. I think it's too difficult to
yeah,
do.
yes, you fucking can.
You also notice how he just ignored everything that Steve said just to go back to his... Oh, yeah, I'm going to get... Because he knew as soon as he said that shit before, that he's going to get called on defining the English. He did not listen to anything Steve said. He was just in his own head. That's why he went, yeah, whatever. Or he had that sort of response to it. He was just
this
thinking
is never about
I don't want
conversation. It's about dragging people over the coals.
Oh, I might get in trouble. Some people might not like that. Dude, well, I can't believe you posted this, not realizing people's reaction to it, what it might be. People on the right. Yeah. But no, let me make sure that I clarify what I said about what is English anyway.
That it's too. You didn't give me what I think would be a satisfying response to how we work out if someone's parents are sufficiently English and if their grandparents are sufficiently.
But you moved on to the additional topic that he answered. Now oh my God, this is so frustrating.
English. I think it's unworkable. And so the only, if you actually want to affect change instead of wanting to look like you're affecting change, as the woke do, there's the horseshoe theory, and I feel like your side and their side.
It's literally just Gish Gallop.
Oh my God.
I don't give a shit what more this cunt has to say because it's just Gish Gallop. It's literally just he's here to fucking swindle you.
Yeah. All right.
The second you see a fucking drop of Hebrew blood, just assume that at this point because they will just continue to yammer this bullshit until you fall for it.
I mean, it is about a minute left. Do you want to finish it or you do want to go on? Yeah? Okay.
It doesn't sound like he's got anything else to say.
No, he's just going to continue to be an asshole. Let's see. We do have like an hour. I kind of want to finish it. I'm sorry. I have heard the end of it, but I want to finish this up just because it's just.
Is it anything of substance or is it just waffle?
It's 5 straight minutes just of him being the most insufferable. I'm just going for it.
It doesn't matter. You can learn.
Wait, was it? No, not that long. It was just over a minute left. I think it was around here. All right. Uh-oh. Oh no, did I break it? Watch. Oh no.
Fucking smooth move, dickhead.
I know. Oh wow, Okay.
So I love having a latency in my push to talk.
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna go back a little bit. Okay, let's go again.
I don't care who
move on
about it.
Watch the end of it.
Who gets caught in the crossfire. I don't care who cries about it. I don't care who has to get deported.
Yeah.
I want my country back. My people have the right to exist. That's my line.
Well, I think that my people are English as well, and I think that I'm British.
Your people are not fucking English.
It's very difficult to define.
That's just English as anyone else.
Fucking English. The moment you say my people are
even
also
though,
like a bitch, no, they're not.
And he still delineates himself though, because it's hyphenated, right? He's Jewish English, right, or whatever.
That's not English.
There's always a hyphenation there. You're not really.
I'm of the opinion that being called English is one of the worst insults in the world,
I
and
know.
even I wouldn't fucking award it to this cunt.
I know there'll be a lot of people screaming at me in the comments.
I don't think you are. I think you're Jewish, and
yeah, but
we're distinct, different groups.
Yes, he admit. Yeah,
it's true.
Hyphenated.
Because you are.
Yeah, as
the
a
same
no
way
duh.
Judeo-Christian is not fucking Christian.
Yep.
But I'm not going to Israel. You know,
if I had power, mate, you would be.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this guy. Okay, that's why we wanted to tough this out.
Absolutely mog.
Verses at the end. I just assumed they were going to let this retard yammer on. I didn't know we were going to get some clapback for a change. Now he's got some fucking bass in his voice.
But I don't speak that
It doesn't matter. You
don't
can
like the heat.
It doesn't matter.
That or Poland, mate. Pick a side.
Yeah. I don't
train.
know. I don't know Hebrew. Get to learning.
Name's
Go and learn them.
Goldstein. Andrew Goldstein, you'd fit in, mate.
I'd say I think they got you some like... Also, you can imagine the pause when like, he's immediately had a fucking like
he's had a
stroke.
bit of an he's not doing well. He's not reacting to this.
Yeah, he's been called a Jew, so he is legitimately flinched like he's been struck. And his like
Goldstein
he's blinking asynchronously since he got called Goldstein.
Yeah, I know.
He's like it's
Wait,
legitimately glamour failure.
He's about to explain the Goldstein thing too, because let me actually.
Well, it's not. Goldstein is a name that our name would have been a kind of Central European name. I don't even know now. It would have been that because the British they changed a lot of difficult names from.
Did they?
To names they could understand.
Polish.
They just gave
Funny.
us names like Goldstein.
Well, now we know what tribe.
And then
yeah. What was
That just means you're not fucking English, you twat.
Yeah. Again,
Jewish,
further
for that matter.
evidence.
You're Kazarite.
How many hundreds of years, or I think he claims however long he claims his family's been here, excuse me, and the names never died out. It never integrated.
Dear dumbass Jews, if you want people to not find out you're a piece of shit, it might actually be in your favor if you don't say, hey, look, I don't mind if you get genocided.
So
that actually is what you're doing.
Decorum and something approaching like
normalcy,
appreciation
doesn't really
of the
win
hospitality
over
of the
friends.
host country.
Yeah, no, it does not.
To names they could understand, so they just gave us names like Goldstein
and
Sargon, this is the twat you were defending and saying, oh well, Steve Law's positions is untenable. Like, get fucked, seriously.
He probably just thought it was
Really,
Josh.
Steve Law's position here is I know he said that, but how is it untenable? He was extraordinarily polite, but he was
The most reasonable response
strong in his
is
stance.
Carl mistook him for Josh and sided with him.
Maybe on accident.
There is no way Josh would be this fucking retarded, though.
No.
No.
Wherever you were.
Assimilation.
Trying to.
You
literally
assimilated by
just
getting rid
said,
of the stain.
I don't care if the entire fucking English race dies. Like,
Yeah.
what are you assimilating with if you just said I don't care if it goes extinct?
Well, you're going to integrate into the fucking
Yes.
ground. It's not like people haven't tried to help you along with
Because
that
you
process
wouldn't
over the
say
years.
that about. He would never say that about Jews, would he? If that was
I
just
would
turned
rather-
around, would you say that about Jews? He
Well,
wouldn't. Of course not.
To be honest, Bill, I would rather they integrate with the air.
I don't know, man. Those carbon taxes are a son of a bitch.
Damn.
Have you seen train fare lately?
Speaking of free speech, as we were earlier, free speech will have to go to preserve multiculturalism. This is
get
Australian
fucked.
news. I just had this. I think I was starting a world section, but I didn't end up going away with it or going through with it. So I just had this one Australian story stuck in here.
What is his early life?
This is. Let's see. What's this guy's name? Not often the Premier of New South Wales. So I don't know. Let's see. Premier Chris Minns. Google search. Let's see. Just out of curiosity, we're doing a little nudity today. It doesn't say. I don't know. I think maybe the nudicine is a bit miscalibrated. Just from all of it that's been going on tonight. I acknowledge we don't have the same free speech rules that they have in the U.S. and make no apologies for that. We've got a responsibility to knit together our community that comes from different races and religions.
No, we don't.
If it requires you to literally subjugate the viewpoints of other people, then maybe you shouldn't be integrating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Free speech basically has to go. You can't do it like that in the U.S. If you got
Yeah,
well,
that's
if
what
they do it in
we
the
want
US,
the advice of someone who looks like like fucking Kevin Bacon playing John Kerry.
Yeah. Okay. So this was the big story last week. They got.
Why is it always fucking New
immediately
South
forgotten
Wales?
about. It always does. Well, I think it's like the most populous. No, it's not.
No, it's the fucking overwhelming Welsh spirit to fuck over their neighbour if it means they get to listen to them die screaming the day before it happens to them.
So this was I know, indeed, right? And like I said, this story was from 2 weeks ago. We didn't get to it last week. I'm going to try to cover it fairly quickly now because it's old news. But this is just insane. Keir Starmer welcomes in Alaa Abd Al Fattah back into the UK. Been reunited with his loved ones. Must be feeling profound relief. Pay tribute to Alaa's family and to all those who've worked and campaigned for this moment. This was an incredible embarrassment for not just Keir Starmer, but for a bunch of Labour. Hamish Falconer, MP for Lincoln. He says, very glad to see Alaa Abd Al Fattah back in the UK. Here's, see, another one.
In 2003, Chris Minns attended the Australia-Israel Jewish Affairs Council.
There you go. There you go.
Every time. Every fucking time.
Every time. Every Stein Singelberg Timowitz. Again, here's Yvette Cooper. Alaa Abd Fattah has arrived, not back this time, in the UK with his family. Hooray. Oh, so many of them. Of course, David Lammy as well was in on this. They all posted this around the same time as well. It was clearly that they got, notified, hey, celebrate this thing. David Lammy, delighted that Alaa Abd Al Fattah has been reunited with his family in the UK. He didn't say welcome back, though, which there's no way Lammy did that. Lammy did that on purpose because he's dumb as a sack of bricks. The point being, as we'll find out here soon, this guy's never been to England before. The guy they're welcoming back, at least to anyone's knowledge. So
when you do shit like this, you kind of make Steve's Law's point.
Yes, yeah, indeed, right? This guy's never even been to England, but he was born here and lived here till I think the age of 3. I'm not even sure now if he was born here. I do have the information on that later, but it's been a couple weeks, so I forgot. They made all these public tweets about this guy. They used his name in all of them. People started looking him up, and they found him on Twitter. And they started going through his Twitter, because he's had some interesting things to say. He says, so the brilliant British dogs and monkeys really think terrorists will reveal their plans on Twitter. Which is a joke. But he started deleting these tweets as people kept digging into them. Because he had a lot of things to say. And again, so he was aware of this because he was deleting them. As always, my consolation is that Europeans have adopted a voluntary extinction by failing to breed just a few more decades and it will be over. I mean, you're just going to have to accept it, right? Deal with it. Sounds like you get on well with Mr. Goldstein. That's why nonviolence is a bad idea. It attacks leeches like Jay Mayton. Can we please adopt armed struggle and kill all foreign journalists? So, hey, journalist class, anyone celebrating this guy being let back in the country, he wants to kill all journalists, just so you know. Well, foreign ones.
The edits.
Edits?
Yeah, the chat will know what that's a reference to.
Nothing like a bit of inside baseball around that evening.
Yeah, I know.
I
The
don't know.
chat will know what that's a reference to.
Oh no, okay. Is it possible for someone to assassinate Dia Rashwan? Or if it has to be peacefully, let's slit his throat. The important thing is that he stops talking. Isn't it possible to have a disease of worshipping the army and calling for customary rulings like this? And here he is, reunited with his parents. Wow, what a nice photo. Right? Same guy. And you talk to most of them, and they come out and tell you they're the ones oppressed and who are oppressed and the victims. I seriously hate white people, especially those of English or Dutch or German descent.
Wow, you offended me 3 times. Fucking cunt.
Oh my god! Yeah, they only threatened me twice. You got the trifecta. Holy fuck, dude. Like, this guy's such a scumbag. He's such a piece of shit.
So, Mr. Dalton.
No, again, Yeah, Dutton posted that one. Yes, eat this England. That one was for all those who died digging the Suez Canal. I mean, good fucking God. And then this guy's tweet history. Don't worry. Oh, we were only discussing how we'll take over your town and rape your women. Us terrorists tend to do that. Again, some of these he's being tongue-in-cheek, but he's a complete piece of shit. This is insane. This is some guy who's been invited in by a bunch and then celebrated into the country by a whole bunch of prominent figures in labor.
Oh, I got to restart my shit.
Mm. Oh, no problem, Bill. In a country that has put extreme measures over what people say on social media, and nobody bothered to check this dude's Twitter, really? I'll switch to something else, advocating killing police, hating white people, assassination plot. Yes, exactly. Didn't you know I'm a communist? Which some people are freaking out about that. Like, a lot of the, like I said, he's clearly joking or fucking around. But this is also insane given the context. Dear Zionists, please don't ever talk to me. I'm a violent person who advocated killing all Zionists, including civilians, so fuck off. Can we please get back to killing Zionists? And the thing about this story is, this is what the only part of this that got latched onto by the media was, oh, he's an anti-Zionist, he hates Jews. That was what all of the talking points regarding this guy became. Not him talking about how much he hates white people, how much he hates England. It was, oh, he's anti-Semitic. He's got to go, not because he hates white people, he hates the English, he wants to kill and rape them, but because he was anti-Semitic. Sorry, I had that one twice, just to reiterate the point, I guess. Let's see, what else? Oh, one of the things was that it was interesting, though, is that he was posting in English, right? However, he was not just posting these things in English, he was also posting them in Arabic. Because it did look suspicious. It was like, why is this guy saying all of this stuff in English? He's living in Egypt. He's Egyptian. He lived in the UK, I think, till he was like 3, if that. So his English is clearly not that great from his tweets, but that could just be the way people type. I don't know. However, and it seemed weird. It's like, why is he typing all this, writing all this insane shit, specifically in English? And I know people's noticing sensors went off. And they went off for me too, but he was also tweeting this shit in Arabic. We won't be able to kill the officers anymore. Fine, we'll find a terrorist cell to kill their children and torture their mothers. Peacefulness is stupid. This is translated from Arabic. Am I going to kill a senior official to make something big happen, or kill a senior official to become the one who killed a senior official? The question repeats in revolutions. That one I think that might not have been actually as violent as the other ones, but... Just to be clear, he was also tweeting this shit in Arabic. Fuck, that sounds like you need more fear. Random shooting of white males should convince them racism costs lives. I got one here for you in a second, Spoon. Humanity will not be redeemed until we commit genocide against all white people. In parentheses, some of my best friends are white. So again, he's being tongue-in-cheek, but this shit's insane. And this is in England. Very, very strict about what you can say on social media. You go to prison for this. Thousands of people get arrested every year for posting stuff on social media. He loves South Africa, though, Spoon. Yes, got a bit of that in South Africa when people would classify us as colored. When whiteys would do that. I have all sorts of personal, selfish reasons for wanting to be in Egypt. Even when I lived in South Africa, I knew it was temporary. South Africa is more my style. I miss it a lot. No, you didn't see me on May 27th. It was 2 weeks after, I think, I was living between South Africa and Egypt. So, yeah, he stayed for a while in South Africa, and he quite likes it there for some reason. Obviously, he supports Hamas. I mean, look, of course he does. Here's his profile. You can just see this. These are taken from his actual profile. On Twitter. This is a bunch of pro-Hamas stuff. Recognize Hamas. I mean, that's a no-brainer. His sister also gets involved here. When Summer welcomed the release of Alaa Abd El Fattah, the BBC described his sister Mona as a human rights defender. She's been feted by the likes of David Lammy. Turns out, like brother, Mona has extreme views like this, they weren't hard to find. Like something out of a sci-fi movie, I guess it takes a special kind of imagination to find new ways of resisting an extremely advanced occupation army who's... Look, she's mostly just posting anti-Jew stuff there. Palestine, once again, the discrepancy between many that celebrating Ukrainian resistance, but now condemn Palestine resistance. Her stuff, I think, is far more reasonable, but it's still, like, she's also clearly an activist. And then here you have this stuff. I would kill you, don't delete the tweet. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you soon. Kill him, I swear. I don't know. The sister's also doesn't seem like a very nice person either. He's a real piece of shit. But seems, this was all just out there in public. So, this is an interesting story, aspect of this. In 2014, he was nominated for an EU humanitarian prize. And it was withdrawn, presumably because of the tweets. The same tweets. Those tweets, the guy's been in prison for years, right? In Egypt. For doing weird shit on social media in Egypt. It seems very likely that his nomination was pulled for this humanitarian award because of the shit he says on Twitter. Back in 2014. 2014, I think, is also when he, it's either 2014 or 2015, I think it is 2014, that he was sent to prison in Egypt for doing the same shit. So the excuse that Labor just didn't know, had no idea, how could they possibly have known about this guy's tweets, doesn't really hold up to any scrutiny. He was in prison over making threats on the internet. There was no excuse to not knowing, in which case, you have to wonder what was the point in this? Was this just a massive catastrophic fuck up that for some reason they all went out and talked about? Or is this a demoralization thing? Or I'll get to, there is another option, I think, potentially. And it's to trick the right into doing something stupid. So here's his apology after he got found out. I am shaken that just as I am being reunited with my family for the first time in 12 years, several historic tweets of mine have been republished and used to question, attack my integrity and values, escalating to the calls of revocation of my citizenship. So here's the other part of the story. While he was in prison in Egypt, he was just granted citizenship out of nowhere by actually the conservative, the Tory government granted him citizenship, saying, you know, he's a foreign prisoner, and we're going to, because of his connections, his historical connections to England, we're going to grant him citizenship. He's never even been in the country. Or, he had been in the country, wasn't it? He's never been a citizen. Now, again, it's 2 weeks away from this story, so I'm starting to forget parts of it. It was his parents. He was never in the country at all. His parents, it was that. His parents briefly lived in England. I did get the story mixed up. Sorry, like I said, it's been 2 weeks. He's never been to England. His parents lived in England for about 3 years or something like that. And I think they live there now. But he has no connection whatsoever to England. At all. But they granted him citizenship, the conservatives did, while he was in this Egyptian prison, and then started trying to get him out. And now have, and welcomed him into the country. It's very bizarre, right? So here's his, anyway, back to his apology. Looking back, I see the writings of a much younger person, deeply meshed. And these were up. These are tweets from like 2011, 2012, 13, up until he went in 14 and older. And there's no way they couldn't have known about it because that's what he was in prison for. And that's why his humanitarian award was, consideration was revoked. But again, this guy with no ties is granted citizenship because he's an activist of some sort, and in an oppressive regime that jailed him for the shit he says on social media. It's so, for the English government to do that, for the UK government to do that, is very ironic. Again, considering that it's thousands of people a year who go to jail or at least get arrested for cyber crimes of having wrong think opinions. That's what this guy was in jail for in England, or excuse me, in Egypt, when he was invited to be and given citizenship in England. So fucking dumb. Also, some tweets have been completely misunderstood in extremely bad faith. And look, what does he point out?
That's a bit much.
One tweet alleging homophobia was actually ridiculing homophobia. The one he actually calls out.
You're in fucking Egypt. No one believes that.
Yeah. Well, no, he's in England now. Another tweet wrongly interpreted to suggest Holocaust denial, but in fact, the exchange shows that I was clearly mocking Holocaust denial.
Here's an idea. How about we
Mhm.
insinuate that it's important that he goes into the UK because he's gay, and we'll just judge him by his reaction?
I mean, that might be funny, yeah.
It really should be the first port of call to assume that if you're a Muslim and you're from one of those places, you are coming to the UK, it's because you're gay.
Yeah, that might change
Safe
the...
assessment.
Yeah.
You need to be here, so you must be gay.
You do. Yeah, it's not
men.
safe for you in Egypt, right? Because you're gay. Because you fuck dudes, right?
This might actually be the kryptonite for it, and if that's
maybe.
the case, this is going to be very,
Admit
very
to
funny.
being gay, yeah. Take accusations
Be
of
funny, at
anti-Semitism very seriously. It would be funny. I've always believed that sectarian and racism are the most sinister and dangerous of forces, and did my part and paid the price for standing up for the rights of religious minorities in Egypt. I faced a military tribunal and imprisonment for defending Christians in Egypt, falsely accused of violence. Did you? I don't really know. Nor do I trust anything this guy says, because he lies like he breathes.
Well, he's
And I can tell you, like... Sorry, Spoon?
He is Islamic, so...
Yeah. Well, yeah. They're allowed to lie to the kuffar. Also, it's a little bit difficult to take this seriously when at the same time he was posting this shit, same time of day, same day, he was liking this comment, these kinds of comments, not just this one, which describes, since yesterday, English Egyptian online campaign has been launched on X, activist blogger. It says, anyway, the truth about the campaign launched by Zionists against Allah Abdel Fattah. Thank you for this investigation. Again, they're saying that, I think is this the one? Did I have the wrong link? Because there's one where he's talking shit and retweeting shit that is anti-Keir Starmer. Yeah, is this it? No, this isn't the right one. I have the wrong one. Unless it's down here lower. He was legitimately at the same time. This is it. He reposted. So Starmer did his best to secure Allah's release, but as in the way of the modern world in the UK, PM ends this dreadful ordeal by thanking the authoritarian dictator President Sisi for granting a pardon. Not a hint that Allah's treatment amounted to arbitrary detention and was profoundly cruel. He reposted that, talking shit about the guy who's gotten him into the country. Keir Starmer said this was his top priority. Somehow I've like cut off a bunch of the stuff that at the beginning of this. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Because I had those clips. Keir Starmer clearly made that welcoming post that's linked there. But wait, what was my point on this? Goddamn. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I've got everything that's supposed to be in this list. I haven't looked at this in a week. Anyway, that's what he was liking while he was posting his apology about saying horrible things about the English and who had just welcomed him in. It wasn't the campaign for him back in the last couple years that, again, eventually the Conservatives obliged was giving him citizenship. Here's a bunch of leftists as well celebrating this dude. It's very bizarre why so many people are talking about him and know about this guy, this rando from Egypt, right?
Thousands of miserable creatures in Torah prison, waiting for months, years sometimes,
And?
for judgments that never come. Will our cases never end, forgotten by the world outside the prison walls?
Shut up, white woman.
Everyone in the prison is pale and miserable, even the cats. Their movements slow, their eyes spent and broken.
This is so cringe and gay.
You are reading a script, you fag, and this is
Where's
so...
fucking... There's Mark
gay.
Ruffalo. Look, it's a bunch of celebrities who've all come out to be like, oh, we really gotta fight for this activist who writes insane shit on Twitter. You know? And it wasn't just this. There was a bunch of this. Here's another one. Here's another celebrity ad campaign for Free Allah.
Prime Minister Starmer.
Dear Prime Minister Starmer.
Dear Prime Minister Starmer.
Dear Prime Minister Starmer.
Prime Minister, I'm making this video because I, like a lot of people, and I should imagine yourself included, are deeply concerned.
Dear Prime Minister, I'm reaching out to you.
Tons of this. All these celebrities.
Why
Free
do they
this
all sound
Allah guy.
so gay and doped up?
Well, they're definitely doped up.
All of them sound like they're on drugs.
Yeah. Here's a list of parliamentarians who signed a letter
Minister,
urging...
I'm here to tell you that... oh, fuck off.
Urging the secretary to bring Alaa Abd el-Fattah to the UK. They all signed a list asking for this fucking activist who has never been to this country to be brought to it, given citizenship. The citizenship, again, happened a couple of years ago. 2020 or 2019, something like that.
Steve Laws intensified.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. Where is it of interest? I mean, in general, names to take note of. I did notice...
of the best cocaine, just ask Tommy. Oh, God, that's a good shot. It's true, though.
Oh. Corbyn's on here. Oh, there it is.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Of course. Well, sometimes people think he's kind of a little based, like the semi-based lefty, which is just pointing that out. And then again, this was bipartisan. Everybody really wanted to get this guy in the country and give him citizenship.
But here's the thing,
Last year,
I can understand if you're anti-war, Corbyn, but that it also involves not bringing people into the country that wish to start a war with the civilians, you fucking twat.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker.
This is last year. This is last year. Talking about it in Parliament. Free this guy. Get him out of this prison in Egypt for posting insane shit on social media.
Why the fucking hell are English members of Parliament giving a shit about someone with that fucking name?
Yeah.
What is his relation to England?
His parents lived in England for like 3 years.
Okay, so...
And I guess, I don't even know if they live here now. They keep saying reunited. I don't know if he just met up with them in England or what.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Why don't you ship them to fucking where he is then?
Well, he was in prison. But yeah, why don't you go back to Egypt?
You are clearly not fucking English with that goddamn name. You belong in the Middle East. Certain words I want to say involving S and N.
Friends and family, whom I have the privilege to represent as my local constituents, just want their brother, their uncle, their son home safe. Now, previously, the Foreign Secretary, who I know has worked hard on this issue, and as he says, has raised it with the Egyptians.
Dear God, I hate white women.
Year
hate
over
white
year.
women so fucking much. Just every time
I got a brown
I
one
see
for you.
one of you... No, I don't like them either. I hate them even more. I hate all of them. Just like every single fucking one of you. By the way, no one with a non-English name should be in any part of English Parliament, ever. Like, I will openly fucking say that. A Parliament should be exclusively white and English. I said English, by the way, not fucking golds.
Yeah.
This is not a radical extreme position. This is literally every single society since the dawn of fucking mankind.
Yeah. Indeed. And well said. It was people from all over the spectrum, though. There's Corbyn. This is Zara Sultana, also.
Spectrum is fucking
Last
right.
year,
Corbyn's
we were,
involved.
we were campaigning. Which she's on board with. She's the U Party, involved with the U Party thing. We're campaigning for Alaa Abd el-Fattah's freedom today. Here he is with his family where he belongs. This was published this year, too. Yeah, I thought this was an older one. No, here it is. It's down here. Last year, this morning I stood with Layla Seif, his mother, outside the Foreign Office on her 81st day of hunger strike. Her life is at risk, and the fight to free Alaa has never been more urgent. His future is in David Lammy's hands. So in 2024, posting about this. Huh?
You see that board on the right with the marks? That's how many Holocaust survivors were discovered in the last 5 minutes.
Probably, yeah. It keeps happening.
Fastest growing voting group.
And the thing is, it was not just, again, Labour, or even like, far left, like Zara Sultana or whatever your party is. It was the Conservatives as well. So this is about that.
His release. Well, I can assure the Honourable Lady that we are...
So Liz Truss comments about this in 2025 are, the El-Fattah case shows the way that the human rights NGO industrial complex has completely captured the British state. The ECHR Human Rights Act is at the heart of this. The ideology is deep-rooted in the bureaucracy. And now we have a prime minister as part of this complex. A big failure of the Conservative government was to not repeal the laws and replace the bureaucrats on day one. That's in 2025. Here she is speaking about a law in 2022.
Working very hard to secure his release. Lord Ahmed has met with the family, and I am seeking a meeting with the Egyptian foreign minister. He's due to visit the United Kingdom shortly, and I'll be raising his case.
Wowie. Here's a generic.
Evening, Alex. I was absolutely livid when I heard that this vile piece of work is going to be coming to our country, potentially living at taxpayers' expense for years to come. As you say, a little look at his Twitter account reveals everything you need to know about this man. He says he hates white people. He says...
He's just going on about it. But again, it was the Tory government who gave this guy citizenship. So all of the responses from them, acting disgusted, they granted him citizenship several years prior. So I just don't buy any of this vitriol. It rings extremely hollow when it was the Conservatives who granted him citizenship. Yeah, while serving the jail sentence. So here's just the... I thought I put this up earlier. It's a weird place for me to organize it. Sorry, say again?
Just don't expect any consistency from anyone in politics.
I know.
Unless you're consistently disappointed.
Yeah. But this is, again, you can see 3 years old, more than 3 years old, about him being granted citizenship. And there's this Keir's statement on it. How did I manage to organize these in reverse order? Oh no, yeah, this was his own comments on it beforehand. Yeah.
And can I start by raising the case of Alaa Abdul Fattah? Yeah. As the Prime Minister,
they all petitioned for this guy.
He's a British citizen, jailed for the crime of posting on social media.
Which is the funniest fucking thing to come out of his mouth. I know. Wow. How unfathomable, Keir, for someone to be jailed for the crime of publishing something on social media. Unfucking fathomable, isn't it?
And been imprisoned in Egypt for most of the last 9 years. He's been on hunger strike for the last 6 months. Now, the Prime Minister just...
Well, terrible. Oh, it's not like he also learned that from his mother, who'd been on a hunger strike for 80 days at 90 or whatever and looked okay to me. All right, that's most of that. Then, of course, he didn't know about it at all. I have to use the restroom real quick, so I'll leave you with this article, shall I? Be right back.
Do we have to? Because I feel like at this point, this is just like torture porn.
Do I have anything else? Just a couple memes. Give me 1 sec, because just give me a minute.
Okay, you need to cover her. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, hot as hell. It's bloody warm over here. At least I just killed the fucking mosquito that was flying around. It pissed me the hell off. Because I can hear the fuckers in my sleep. Luckily they're gone now.
Literally.
Oh, fucking yeah. Aside from that, how you been?
Oh, you know, steady decline.
Oh, fucking hell. Society or just in general?
Oh, in general.
Oh,
bronchitis is clearing up.
Yeah, because you sound normal again. Ish.
That's everything.
Yeah. Can't really tell, though, because you just generally sound like that.
True. Very true.
Yes. Normal sounding voices when we're not yelling. No calling people cunts in this case. I'm amazed that... I was amazed that word doesn't get censored. Can't say a certain slur, but for some reason you can call people cunts and it's totally fine.
Thanks to the Australians keeping it as a random piece of regular conversation.
Yeah, that might be why.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Always got to make allowances for the differently abled.
Thank you. I really had to use the bathroom, okay?
You talk about the Australians, God, not everything's about you.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, Starmer has feigned ignorance of this guy's history. I've already explained why that is difficult to believe. But don't worry. The police are on it about the real problems. Freemasons? We will robustly defend our decision to require off. I know, I'm not disagreeing, but how strange.
To be fair, if you're a member of a secret society, you should probably be required to state that when you get into government.
I mean, kind of based, but I'm not really sure
Yeah,
why.
but it's just that it's bizarre. It's kind of like based ? Defend our decision to require officers and staff to declare if they are Freemasons. Our response to the decision by the Grand Lodge of England to seek an injunction blocking the implementation of the policy is below. What? Why? You must identify if you're a Freemason, I suppose. That's a.
This sounds like this is an ongoing thing. That by the sounds of things.
They're not the only group, though, that the police is onto, of course.
Well, according to this, like the Grand Lodge is just straight up saying, like, no, we don't have to tell you shit.
This story is just insane. Again, bigger concerns for the government, right, than checking this guy's Twitter, is UK politics teacher reported to terrorism investigators for showing students Donald Trump video. Teacher said he was reported to government counterterrorism investigators and forced to resign just for showing high school senior-age students videos of President Trump. The politics teacher at Henley College in Oxfordshire, northwest of England, told The Telegraph he was accused of causing emotional harm to the students who were 17 or 18 years old, with Child Protective Services suggesting he could be guilty of a hate crime. They likened me to a terrorist. It was completely jarring. Yeah, it is.
This is how you birth a generation of utter spineless creatures.
Yeah, I think some of the young men, though, are pretty pissed off.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I'm upset I saw another person. Oh, just fuck off and die, seriously.
Insane. Regarding the, there was a little aside for things that were more pressing at the time for the government. But Yvette Cooper's written to the chair of Foreign Affairs Committee about the long-standing and deeply regrettable information failures exposed in recent days about the handling of consular cases and how we intend to address them. If you don't remember, Yvette was one of the people welcoming this guy back, and now it's like, oh, whoops. I don't know what happened here exactly. But this just looks like utter incompetence on every level. And of course, the thing that was annoying, and what I wanted to make clear in my coverage of it, and our coverage of it, is that this guy just being like, oh, he's an anti-Semite, he doesn't like Jews or whatever. It was way more than that. Yeah. That part's hypocritical as well, but I mean, that's all politicians. But I was very frustrated that the coverage of it was almost entirely about, oh, he's anti-Semitic. Now here's my hypothesis as to why. So Nigel Farage responds, I've written to Shabana Mahmood, urging her to rescind the citizenship of Alaa Abd al-Fattah and deport him from the country. You might think, based. I would agree. On a principle based. However, 1, it'll be because he's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
2,
because he's anti-English.
2, this sets precedent to strip someone of citizenship for their social media opinions. I know, you might think, based, but this now sets precedent to say, well, strip citizenship from somebody because they've expressed, say, anti-Semitic, anti-Israel opinions.
And they get to bury someone who is definitely one of the people who helped spark Arab Spring.
Yeah.
It's definitely an asset.
Yeah. The only reason I'm not more concerned about this is because I don't think it's going to happen. However, I wonder, was that what you meant by this, Nige? Because there's no way you're that dumb that you don't see what route that opens up. Maybe he's that dumb. He will not be stripped of citizenship over past tweets. Home Office will not strip British Egyptian activist Alaa al-Fattah of his citizenship because his abhorrent past social media posts do not reach the legal bar for such a sanction, government sources have said. I've not looked into this in 2 weeks. I highly doubt that's changed. It got completely forgotten by the news cycle. Again, you will go to jail for this, though. Jailed over anti-immigrant posts, viewed only 33 times. Just to, again, make the dichotomy clear.
This is why I don't actually have any issue with the people calling for Trump to just overthrow the UK government, because the government in the UK is so inefficient and so obviously hostile to its own people that legitimately some blowhard who sucks off Israel every 10 minutes is a preferable option to what they've got right now. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know about that, ban on principle. I can't agree with that.
At least there's some perfunctory surface level like allowances of rights in America, whereas in the UK, they would literally, if you call someone a slur after they rape and attempt to murder you, you will literally go to prison longer than they did.
Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, that is the way things are. All right. That before we head out, I did want to. I got a meme. But before we do meme, I want to say something a little bit sad because I was talking to my mother last night, and my kitty passed away. I didn't know. My mom told me she was sick and that she'd been losing weight. But I didn't know how sick, and apparently she had cancer. Which is my family's always been able to keep cats for like they've lived for a long time, our kitties. But she was only, I think, about 12 years old. And she was the nicest, sweetest cat. I just wanted to show you guys my cat because she was a very pretty cat. She was so smart. She was the smartest cat, and she would always sit on my shoulder like that when I was working. In fact, it got quite annoying because like it's difficult to type when you've got a cat on your shoulder. But she was a really, really amazing cat. I got her when I was in grad school, and she's just adorable. So there's my kitty, Freya. And she had a big personality. I love that cat, man. She was the nicest cat. Bill knows I used to talk all the time about like I gotta find some way to get her over here, but it would be so expensive, and it seems excessive to move her over.
It would be a very stressful thing.
It'd be stressful for her, and then
like
she doesn't, you know.
The reason that the risk to her health for all that stress of having to go over here, like basically as baggage.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Far above, like.
I felt like it wasn't the right choice to. She lives with my mom, and I thought it wasn't the right choice to bring her over from the States. But she was a wonderful kitty, and I will miss her a lot. She was the best kitty. Yeah, pour one out for Freya. Let's not end on a sad note though. Let's end on a meme. This is my in addition to Sam Hyde's "Don't you feel a little silly? Don't you feel a little fucking stupid?" I also, for some reason, I think that this sums up all of this fucking shit involving the Maduro stuff. I was just watching it earlier, and I went, that's about my feelings on this.
You're such an idiot, it's just hard to even imagine. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you give a man a rat, you satisfy his rat desire. If a rat plays Monopoly with another rat, and rats do that, by the way, like lobsters, the little rat will always lose. That just shows you whose side God is really on. Then the losing rat will yell at the big rat, because he's the
This is just him talking about geopolitics, by the way.
Big rat, which inevitably results in mass genocide.
Yep.
Which is what a rabbit would do.
The Gamma World players of the chat, all three of them will agree, yes, the rabbits will do that. They do be like that.
There's geopolitics summarized. All right, guys. Thank you all for showing up and hanging out. We'll see you all next Wednesday. Same time as usual. All right? Cheers and bye-bye.